with his eyes wide open at this time. As for this Rayleigh, of course, is not reluctant to Yuanj, he is reluctant to be Yuanj's wine. This guy's wine is really good. Since the disbandment of the Roger Pirates, he hasn't drank the wine brewed by Yuanj. This made Riley miss him very much. Therefore, Rayleigh has already planned, if this kid doesn't brew enough wine for himself, he will never let this guy leave. Hearing this, Yuanj smiled embarrassingly and said, Rayleigh, I haven't seen you for a long time. I don't know when I will talk next time. For an old man like Rayleigh, in Yuanji's view, he is like his own family. Because he has traveled to this world, there is no family, and Yuanj is the first to contact them. In particular, some of his fighting skills and domineering are taught by Rayleigh and Roger. Therefore, in Yuanji's view, Rayleigh and the others are like his own family. Ha ha, you used to listen very hard, and often came to ask me questions. I think you are very good at brewing wine. You have taught you everything, but I didn't expect that you learned so much before. Duo, to be so low-key on the boat. Now what's the reason for you guy? How did you become so high profile? It's already a blockbuster if it doesn't make a sound. Ha ha. Riley said to Yuanj at this time. Riley still knows a lot about Yuanj. After all, this guy was almost taught by Roger and himself. Who calls himself an alcoholic? I remember. There are also 2 interns on our ship, one is Shanks, and now that guy is one of the 4 emperors. Oh. No, now you suddenly appeared. Not now there are only 4 sea emperors, but now there are 5 sea emperors. What is the name of another intern? It seems to be called Bucky. That guy used to have a very good relationship with you. I think that guy's mind is also very good. Why haven't I heard about that guy? That guy is also pretending to be low-key. Riley muttered a lot at this time. The arrival of Yuanj made Riley very happy. Yuanj regards Riley as his relatives. Why doesn't Riley regard Yuanj as his relatives? Of course, Yuanj really didn't know what to say about Bucky the clown that Riley said in his mouth. Because that guy is not pretending to be low-key, and that guy's strength is not good at all. That guy Bucky is probably the weakest one on the One Piece ship. However, this time Bucky did not think so. In Bucky's view, Yuanj is the weakest on their boat. Because this guy doesn't dare to fight himself. It was also the first time that Yuanj saw Rayleigh say so many words. In Yuanji's impression, Rayleigh didn't say a lot. However, Yuanj didn't care about all this. During Yuanj's stay, Yuanj didn't give less wine to Rayleigh. Because Yuanj still has his own plans, he definitely cannot stay in this place for a long time. I don't know when we will meet today. Maybe never see each other again. Riley likes to drink his own wine. The next day, a large number of navies began to pour into the Chambord Islands. These navies encircled the Chambord Islands, and a sub-navy was the navy who entered the Chambord. They began a carpet search of the Chambord Islands. This is the order given to these guys by the naval headquarters Sengoku. As for the Warring States period, he received orders from the 5 Old Stars. Although the Warring States period is a naval marshal, he still has to obey the dispatch of the world government. Seeing this, Yuanj also had to leave the small shop of Rayleigh. After all, Rayleigh doesn't want to get into such trouble now. Of course, Yuanj didn't want to implicate Rayleigh himself. However, that Charles Ross Sacred Yuan song left him in this place. As for Yuanj, it became the appearance of St. Charles Rose. Of course, Yuanj came to a place where there was no one, and then became St. Charles Rose. Yuanj looked at himself like this in the water, and also muttered, if I go out like this, it will definitely arouse suspicion from others. Therefore, I still have to dress up. Soon, Yuanj was dressed up. At this time, Yuanj became the appearance of St. Charles Rose. However, compared to before, the white clothes on his body were dirty, and the hood was also damaged, and his hair was very messy. The way he is now is very embarrassing. Help, help, someone come and help me. At this time, Yuan Jie changed into the appearance of St. Charles Rose, and shouted for help. Because in Yuan Jie's view, this is more in line. Yuan Jie's shouting quickly attracted the attention of other people. However, after seeing that Yuan Jie was a Tianlong person, these guys avoided one by one. Because this is Tianlong people, they can't afford to offend. Although Yuan Jie was very embarrassed at this time, it could be seen that he was a heavenly dragon. Seeing ordinary people ignoring him, Yuan Jie called for help from the navy at this time. It just so happened that a Kainu was passing by with a group of navies at this time, and happened to see Yuan Jie. This seems to be the missing Tianlong. Yuan Jie soon discovered a Kainu. Seeing that this guy's skin is a little red, and there is a flower pin to his chest here, such a sullen guy must be a Kainu. Relying on these, Yuan Jie quickly knew that the guy in front of him was a Kainu. After a Kainu saw Yuan Jie, he was very happy. Because I was so lucky to find this heavenly dragon man. Yuan Jie originally wanted to ask the other party for help. But soon, Yuan Jie thought that he was a Tianlong person, so he was not afraid of anything. What can the other party do even if it is a Navy admiral? After thinking of this, Yuan Jie at this time had another plan. Immediately it changed to what it was before. Then he scolded the Akainu and his party in a bad mood. You Navy. The world government doesn't feed you. Look at how rubbish you are. My dignified world aristocrats are actually in front of your Navy. General Kizaru's face was caught. Your Navy must give me an explanation. 56. The Aggrieved Red Dog, Recommended Ticket Reward. Hearing this, one of Akainu's subordinates smiled and said to Yuan Jie, Sir. Are you okay now? When he heard such a sentence from the other party, Yuan Jie snorted coldly at this time, and then said angrily, If it weren't for me being smart, I guess it would be impossible to live or die. The reason why I can come out now is because of this. Because I'm very smart. After saying this, Yuan Jie pointed at Akainu's nose and asked, You bastard is also a naval admiral. When Akainu heard this, he was extremely angry at this time. Because the other party dared to stand in front of his own hands and say that he was a waste. Akainu is just angry. For the Yuan Jie in front of him, Akainu was helpless. Because the other party is a Tianlong person, a world aristocrat. Moreover, this time it was originally their navy's mistake. In front of their navy admiral, the person was taken away. At this time, Akainu can only accommodate all his anger to Kizaru. Because this thing happened in the hands of the yellow monkey. Huang Yuan did not even protect a Tianlong person. Now their navy has to bear such a black cauldron together with Kizaru. When Yuan Jie saw that Akainu didn't dare to say anything in front of him, an admiral of the navy, it made Yuan Jie feel very relieved. Unexpectedly, the status of the Tianlong people is so noble that even the admiral of the navy would not dare to offend. You bastards! Why don't you bring me back quickly? My father and sister don't know how much they will be careful about me. At this time, Yuan Jie commanded Akainu arrogantly. Hearing this, Akainu could only hold on to the fire at this time. Then he said to his subordinates. Hurry up and send this lord back. This time, don't you guys lose the face of our navy. Hearing this, these navies quickly said yes. Then, just like that, Yuan Jie was escorted by these navies to the Holy Land Marijoa. Naturally, Yuan Jie had never been to Angry Malajoya, so he basically didn't know where to go. In particular, this guy can't tell the direction yet. However, he is not like Zoro and Luffy's two road idiots. Soon, they came to Hong Kong. This leads to one of the most important places in the Holy Land Marijoa. I still know this song. Then, they took the gondola in this place. Because the altitude of this Holy Land Marijoa is very high. Of course, Akainu also told Sengoku that Charles Rose had been found through the phone bug. The warring states soon informed the world government of this news. As for the world government, of course, the news was told to the family of St. Charles Rose. Therefore, when Yuan Jie came on a gondola, he saw St. Charles Rose's father, St. Roswald, and his younger sister, the Palace of Zaluria. When St. Roswald and Zaluria Palace saw St. Charles, who was imitated by Yuanj, they cried a lot. After Yuanj came up, he immediately ran towards Yuanj. Then he hugged Yuanj. Yuanj didn't know what to say about this. However, acting needs to be done. Yuanj had to accept all this. Son, are you all right? Yeah, brother, that one person didn't hurt you. At this time, St. Roswald and Zaluria Palace asked with great concern. Yuanj was really afraid that the father and daughter would check on him, so he hurriedly said at this time, I'm fine. Seeing that Yuanj said this, the two women at this time did not cease the inspection. If Yuanj said that he was really injured, the father and daughter would really examine themselves. But seeing that St. Charles Rose was fine, St. Roswald also said to Akainu at this time, General Akainu, thank you for rescuing my son, we are very grateful to you. After hearing this, Yuanj said very rudely at this time, I wasn't rescued by this guy, it was me who escaped very smartly, but I just met these guys. Rubbish. At this time, Yuanj was unceremoniously accusing Akainu and his party. Even Admiral Akainu is no exception. Just because he is a Tianlong person, what can he do if he scolds him? The other party did not dare to do anything to himself, but he was a Tianlong person. Akainu was humiliated by this Yuanj, and he was also very aggrieved in his heart. But what can you do yourself? The other party is a Tianlong person, and all this has a great responsibility with their navy. At this time, Akainu could only curse in his heart, Pelusalino. As a naval admiral, he can't even deal with a nameless person. I have to go back to you for the humiliation I received today. Do the math. From Akainu's point of view, the guy who captured St. Charles Rose was just average. If he were himself, he would definitely teach the other person a good lesson, and such a thing would not happen. Akainu doesn't think that any guy can have the strength of Yuanj. When he heard his son say this, St. Roswald's face with a smile on his face suddenly became cold. Because according to his own son, all this is because these navies did not protect him well. All this should be the responsibility of these navies, otherwise, his son will not be taken away. HMPH. Let me tell you, you guys in the Navy had better give my brother an explanation, otherwise, we will definitely tell the 5 old stars about this. We are the nobles of the world, so you protect us like this. Hearing what his brother said, Zaluria Palace was also on his brother's side at this time. She relentlessly rebuked the navy in front of her. After hearing this, the faces of these navies were all very bad at this time. Because he didn't expect that his group would find this heavenly dragon man, and they would be treated like this. They originally thought that their group had found this heavenly dragon man, which was probably a great achievement. But I didn't expect that I would be treated like this. Hearing this, Akainu also said to Zaluria Palace at this time, Miss Zaluria Palace, our navy is very sorry for your brother's incident. Just say sorry. At this time, Zaluria Palace did not give Akainu any face at all. When the other party said that, Akainu didn't know what to say at this time. After a while, Akainu squeezed out a sentence, don't worry. Our navy will definitely give you an explanation. However, how could Yuanj at this time easily give out an opportunity to make things difficult for this red dog for so long? What will your navy tell you? Is it just an empty sentence? Yuanj said unceremoniously. 57. The anger from the red dog. After hearing this, Akainu at this time was extremely depressed. Because he got the news from the navy, this guy's brain is a little hard to use. But according to the current situation, this guy is not what he said. When the other party said that, Akainu really didn't know what to say at this time. If you give money to the other party is a Tianlong person, so don't worry about money. Because they have many kingdoms offering gold in the sky. That's why they buy a slave, and it's just hundreds of millions of Baileys, it's just like sprinkling water. Even if the Navy gives money, I don't know how much it will give. As for the rest, the Navy at this time can't promise itself. Even if the Navy promised it, the Tianlong people didn't look down on it. The most important thing is that he is an admiral of the Navy, and the Navy is not in charge of himself. Even if it is the Warring States period, it will be discussed by holding a meeting. Therefore, Akainu was very embarrassed at this time. He has never been like this. However, at this time, he really didn't know what to say. Yuan Jie felt very comfortable after seeing such a scene. Because he was very uncomfortable looking at the guy for a long time. Son, let's go back quickly. Look at what you look like now, go back and take a good shower. At this time, Saint Roswald proposed to Yuanj. Because at this time, Yuan Jie looked very embarrassed. Yes. Shalulia Palace agreed. You bastards, I'd better go back and think about it, how can I give my son an explanation? At this time, Saint Roswald unceremoniously scolded Akainu and his party. As for Akainu and his party, they were very aggrieved. He did not expect that a dignified admiral of his own would be reprimanded like a slave by the Tianlong people. Although this Tianlong person is noble, he is an admiral of the Navy. But now he can only swallow all this. Who told the Navy to have not protected the Tianlong people? Then, Yuanj was taken away by Saint Roswald. Looking at the backs of Yuanj and his group, the flames above the Red Dog's fist were already rising. At this time, he had a straight face and looked very angry. Bastard, I didn't expect a dignified admiral of mine to be so humiliated by these guys, you guys remember it to me. And that guy Polsolino, I'll definitely look for you to settle the account when I go back. Quote. At this time, Akainu scolded angrily. Then, they returned to the base of the Holy Land Mary Joa. When Kyabu saw Akainu, he smiled. Because he heard the news that the Tianlong people who thought they had been captured were found by Akainu. Sakaski, how did you get someone back? That guy is very difficult to deal with. If I guessed correctly, that guy should be stronger than me. Kizaru said to Akainu at this time. Because he only knew that Akainu had found the heavenly dragon who thought he had been captured. Kizaru felt that all of this was probably due to Akainu. When he fought against the opponent at the beginning, he was not the opponent of the opponent, which Kizaru admitted. However, when Kasaragi asked this question, for Akainu, it was undoubtedly fueling the spark plug. Because he was humiliated by the Tianlong people just now. Moreover, Akainu couldn't refute the humiliation of Tianlongren. From Akainu's point of view, if it wasn't for the guy in front of him, he wouldn't be so humiliated. Pelusolino, you have the nerve to ask this. I'll tell you, I won't stop with you on this one. At this time, Akainu said to Kizaru unceremoniously. Hearing this, the smile on Kizaru's face at this time immediately froze. At this time, the yellow monkey was stunned. What is this situation? Not all people have been rescued, so why is there such a big anger? And what does this have to do with me? I didn't offend this guy either. Did this guy take the wrong medicine today? Kizaru had countless doubts in his heart. Therefore, at this time, the yellow ape couldn't help being curious and asked. Sakaski, what's the matter with you today? What does this have to do with me? When he heard Kizaru say this, the red dog at this time looked at Kizaru viciously, and then said angrily, this has nothing to do with you. If it wasn't for you, how could I be humiliated by those Tianlong people? Didn't you rescue the Tianlong people? Are those Tianlong people ungrateful? After Kizaru heard Akainu's answer, the color of doubt on his face became more and more intense. I didn't rescue the dragon man that day, he escaped by himself. That guy was so careless. After hearing what Akainu said, Kizaru became more and more curious. Because that guy's strength should be known. The opponent has such terrifying strength, and it is impossible to escape so easily. Unless that guy has another purpose. Don't get off the topic, I tell you, Pulsalik. If it wasn't for you, that guy wouldn't have been kidnapped, all because you were a bad guy. After that guy humiliated me, I want our navy to give that guy an explanation. Pulsalik, what do you think we should do about this? Quote. At this time, Akainu said unceremoniously to Kizaru. From Akainu's point of view, if it weren't for such a trivial matter as Kyabu, it would not be successful. There will not be so many things behind. Because this is no small matter, that guy's strength is far above himself. If you are not your opponent's opponent, this will not happen. That's Sakazuki, listen to me, that guy's strength is far above me, otherwise, that Tianlong man wouldn't be captured by that guy. At this time, the yellow monkey also explained. However, Akainu does not believe in all this. HMPH. All of these are excuses, I don't believe it. I've never heard of that person. You think that no one is like Yuan Jie, and he is so strong when he comes out. You know, that guy Yuan Jie, but it has been silent for decades on the ship of One Piece. Seeing that Akainu didn't believe what he said, Kizaru didn't know what to say at this time. Kazuna, as for the explanation, I'll leave it to you. If you implicate me next time, I will never finish with you. After saying this, Akainu left. Only the innocent-looking Kizaru was left in that place. 58. I have 7 wives. Reward. Soon, Huang Yuan reported this matter to the Warring States. After all, Sengoku is the boss. Still want this guy to come with that idea. The Warring States did not expect that such a thing would happen. Carp was also present at this time. When Carp heard this, he scolded without hesitation, these bastards. We tried our best to protect these guys, and these guys treated us like this. There was nothing Garp could do when he scolded him, because those Tianlong people said so. They still have to give Tianlongren a statement. At this time, the head of the Warring States was very painful. Because he didn't expect this to happen again. And I heard that Kyabu said that the strength of that guy is far above himself. Therefore, that guy is not easy to deal with. How come so many powerful guys have appeared all of a sudden recently? The world of the Warring States cannot help but sigh with emotion. As for Yuanj, he was brought back to his residence by Saint Roswald and Zaluria Palace. However, when Yuan Jie returned to his residence, Yuan Jie was dumbfounded. When Yuan Jie came back, there was a row of beautiful women standing in front of him. One by one, they looked like sinking fish and falling geese, closing the moon and embarrassing flowers. Yuan Jie has never seen so many beautiful beauties. What is this situation? Is this a beauty pageant? Yuan Jie didn't respond for a while. These beautiful women standing in front of Yuan Jie are naturally the wives of this guy. St. Charles Rose is a womanizer. When he saw the woman he liked, he forcibly took it back, even if it was a married man, he would be rude. Therefore, this guy has so many wives now. Of course, the women that this guy was tired of playing were immediately dismissed by this guy. Looking at these wives of Charles Rose Saint, Yuan Jie at this time couldn't help but be very envious. That one man didn't want to have a big harem. Although Yuan Jie was very envious, he didn't do anything to these wives of Saint Charles Rose. You guys, serve me well, or I will never spare you guys. At this time, the younger sister of Saint Charles Rose, Zaluria Palace, said to these wives of Saint Charles Rose. After Zaluria Palace finished speaking, the wives of Saint Charles Rose couldn't help but tremble after this meeting. You know, these Tianlong people don't treat them as human beings. Therefore, they do not know how these heavenly dragon ninjas will punish them. Seeing these people look like this, Shalulia Palace added at this time, of course. If you serve my brother well, there will naturally be rewards. You can reward you with whatever reward you want. After hearing this, the wives of St. Charles Rose breathed a sigh of relief. After saying this, Shalulia Palace said something to Yuan Jie. Then left. After the Zaluria Palace left, the wife of the Holy Land of Charles Rose walked towards Yuan-Jie. Finding one by one is not what it used to be. At this time, they deliberately expose the clothes on Xi's body one by one, to attract the attention of her husband. After seeing such a scene, Yuan-Jie didn't know what to say at this time. Of course, this is only part of it. They fell into Yuan-Jie's arms one by one. This made Yuan-Jie a bit unpredictable. At the same time, these wives of Charles Rose still winked at Yuan-Jie. This made Yuan-Jie feel very speechless. "Sir, we'll take you to take a bath. Don't worry, we will definitely serve you." At this time, a wife in the Holy Land of Charles Rose said to Saint Charles. Hearing this, other people also agreed at this time. As for these people, looking for a woman who is no longer pure and loyal, one by one, they were turned into sluts by the lecherous Saint Charles Rose. As for those loyal women, they were naturally divorced by Saint Charles Rose. They didn't end well. It is because of these that they become like this. Of course, there is also the fact that if the Tianlong person in front of him really serves him well, the other party will reward him with something he never dared to think about before. That thing is extremely precious and invaluable. However, in the eyes of the rich and powerful Tianlong people, this is not what they think. To be surrounded by such a large group of beautiful women to take a bath. And according to such a situation, it seems that it is still a Mandarin duck bath. This made Yuan-Jie really a little unbearable. Therefore, at this time, Yuan-Jie immediately used his arrogance to make all these wives of Charles Rose stunned. Seeing these people lying on the ground, Yuan-Jie also breathed a sigh of relief at this time. He was sweating profusely at this time. I don't know if I was frightened, or if the blood was surging inside. Yuan-Jie then went to take a bath alone. After washing, he looked at the clothes in the closet. He didn't know what Daga said, because that wardrobe felt like a spacesuit exhibition to Yuan-Jie. Yuan-Jie had better be forced to wear this Charles Rose saint's clothes. After taking a bath, Yuan-Jie lay down on the sofa. At this time, Yuan-Jie also began to think about how he should plan in the future. Of course, at this time, Yuan-Jie was also secretly sighing in his heart. Unexpectedly, this Tianlong person is also not easy to pretend. Looking at the woman lying on the ground in a mess, with disheveled clothes. At this time, Yuan-Jie only felt a great pain in his head. When Yuan-Jie looked around, Yuan-Jie was surprised to find that the room was very spacious. And the things inside are very luxurious. There are lamps made of crystal and cabinets made of gold. All kinds of things are incomparably luxurious. Soon, Yuan-Jie saw a big bed. The beds were the size of a normal house. This guy, could it be that he looks like he has a kidney deficiency, so it turns out that this guy doesn't do such things less often. Yuan-Jie said with emotion. Only then did Yuan-Jie remember the pool where he had just bathed. It's not that big either. When thinking about all these things together, Yuan-Jie didn't know what to say to this Saint Charles. As time goes by, Yuan-Jie's brain is also getting more and more painful at this time. Because these wives of Saint Charles Rose will wake up and don't know what they will do to them later. You know, just now these people looked like this, and at a glance, they knew that they were going to take a bath with themselves. If he hadn't stunned these guys with his domineering arrogance, he might have been pulled by these people to take a bath. My girlfriend, my family is waiting for me. Yuan-Jie muttered in his heart. For something like this, there are a few men who can stand it. P.S. Thank you very much everyone. 59. We will wait for you. Although I have finished bathing, who knows what crazy things these people will do later. Maybe these guys will pull themselves, and then have a big quilt to sleep with. If that's the case, I can't bear it. It will always come. Finally, one by one, these people began to wake up. What's wrong with me? Why did I pass out all of a sudden? When those people came here, they were all very doubtful. Because I was fine just now, why did I suddenly faint? Soon, these people's faces immediately turned pale. If the good thing of Lord Charles Rose is delayed because he suddenly passed out, St. Charles Rose will definitely not forgive himself. Although he was valued by this heavenly dragon because of his beauty. But if you go against the wishes of the other party will not show mercy to you. To this St. Charles Rose, he is like a piece of clothing. Not even one of the other's clothes is inferior. You must know that the clothes of these Tianlong people are made of special materials, but they are very unusual. When they woke up, their faces turned pale. Then they said to Yuanj, Sir Charles Rose, I'm sorry, we don't know why we fainted all of a sudden. We will definitely serve you. Not as expected. In this regard, Yuanjie was speechless with jealousy. Forget it. When I hear my husband say so. The faces of these women present turned pale one by one. Because in their eyes, it was they who failed to serve the husband in front of them, so he was very dissatisfied with them. Then, these people begged to Yuanj, Sir Charles Rose. We are here to serve you. We will definitely satisfy you. Having said that, these people immediately wiped off the clothes on their bodies at this time. Seeing such a scene, Yuanjie was completely speechless at this time. What is all this situation? Could it be that this guy and his wives have to have a sexual relationship? See no evil. Such a spectacular scene, Yuanjie also turned his head. At this time, Yuanjie wished he was a beast, because in that case, he could do the things of beasts. Too bad he is not a beast. Hurry up and put your clothes on for me. Yuanjie said to these people at this time. When the person in front of him said that, it made the wives of St. Charles Rose even more restless at this time. Because in their opinion, the flame of Charles Ross put them off. Sir, we will definitely serve you. These people begged. Yuanjie really didn't know what to say at this time. At this time, he could only speak to these people in a very unkind tone. Hurry up and put your clothes on for me. Otherwise, I will be rude to you. After Yuanjie said this, Yuanjie felt very regretful. Because I want to be rude to these people. These wives of St. Charles, when they heard Yuanjie's order, they were all very puzzled. Because the former St. Charles Rose was not like this. What is the current situation of Charles Rose? However, for the words of St. Charles Rose, these people dare not listen to them. Soon, they put their clothes on. Sir, we've got our clothes on. At this time, a woman among these people said timidly to Yuanjie. To these people, St. Charles Ross today is very strange. They don't know what the Saint of Charles Rose will do to them. They don't want to be put off by St. Charles Rose. Because the person who is dismissed by the person in front of him will definitely not have a good end. When Yuanjie returned to China, these people really put on their clothes, and at this time they were all neatly dressed. Seeing such a big scene, Yuanjie also sighed in his heart at this time. This kid is quite good at training women. Of course, Yuanjie also breathed a sigh of relief after seeing that these people were finally not chaotic. Because in Yuanjie's view, these people are simply seducing themselves. Although these people put on their clothes, these people really looked at Yuanjie pitifully. Being looked at by these people like this made Yuanjie feel very uncomfortable. Yuanjie calmed down for a moment, and then said to these people, I decided to change my mind. I know that I was the one who forcibly occupied you people. I am very sorry for this. How did you get here? How will I let you go back? Yuanjie felt that it was necessary to rescue these women who were forcibly captured by the Beina guy. That's why he said these things to these people. However, why does it feel like I did this thing? All this was done by that bastard, not me. I'm not as immoral as that kid. When those people heard this, they were also slightly taken aback at this time, because it was completely different from the St. Charles they knew before. What exactly is going on? These people, at this time, feel very suspicious. Of course, they were very worried at this time. Does this mean that St. Charles Rose has put himself away? Although they don't know what the result will be after being sanctified by Charles Rose, of course, it must be a good result. When I understood this, some people immediately knelt down at this time. Sir Charles Rose, please don't put me off, this time is my mistake, don't worry, I serve people very well, and I will definitely serve you properly when the time comes. After hearing this, immediately other people knelt down. Sir Charles Rose, just let me go, mine will warm the bed very well. Sir Charles Rose, I am very good at massage, you can leave me here. I will serve you well. Ellipsis ellipsis ellipsis. With a swipe, these people knelt down one after another, like dominoes. Seeing such a scene, Yuan-Jie covered his forehead at this time, not knowing what to say. It was because he had a kind heart and wanted to save these girls who were harmed by Saint Becquerels. But what happened to these people at this time? Yuan-Jie thought for a while, and then he understood what it meant. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. You can go home when the time comes. I know it's all my fault, and I will definitely make up for you. Yuan-Jie explained feebly at this time. Really? Obviously, they are very suspicious of what Charles Rose said. It's all true, I've decided to change my mind, Charles Rose. Yuan-Jie explained to these people at this time. After hearing this news, the scene at this time fell into silence. P.S. Be on time every day and now have a manuscript. 12 noon, 6 p.m. Thank you, oh ***0. 60, Yuan-Jie was asleep. Yuan-Jie also didn't know why this happened. He was very puzzled. Soon someone said to Yuan-Jie, Sir Charles Rose. Thank you very much, but we want to stay in this place to serve you. I want to serve you in this place too. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. After hearing this, Yuan-Jie was extremely puzzled at this time. What is this situation? Are these people brainwashed by that guy? That guy is as stupid as a pig, he can't be that smart. What the hell is going on here? Faced with such an attitude of these people, Yuan-Jie really doesn't know what to do at this time. There is such a good opportunity to let these people go. Now these people can't leave. With such an attitude of these people, Yuan-Jie was too embarrassed to drive them away at this time, so he had to keep these people behind. As for warming the bed and serving himself, Yuan-Jie wouldn't let these people do it. As for why these people stay, that's because St. Charles Rose is actually very good to them. And some of them have been brought over for a while. If they go back rashly, they will definitely be considered to have escaped. Of course, he was already a married woman, yet he still did such a thing. They also did not go back inside. Better stay in this place. Naturally, Yuan-Jie would not have thought of all these things. Since you want to stay, you stay. But I said it before, so there is no need to warm the bed. I have decided to reform. Yuan-Jie warned these people. It feels like these people are going to do something out of the ordinary to themselves. They are also very curious about the sudden change of St. Charles Rose. However, these people did not ask too much. They also heard that St. Charles Rose was taken away. It is estimated that it was hit by something, so it became like this. Yuan-Jie thinks that's it for today. At that time, think about it yourself. But he has other things to do. I can't be delayed my plans by these beauties. Yuan-Jie let these people leave for this reason. After all, he has other things to do. As for today, that's it, I'll make another plan tomorrow. Yuan-Jie didn't know much about this holy place, Mary Joa. Moreover, in this place, Yuan-Jie did not dare to walk sideways. You must know that there are not only admirals in this place, but also 5 old stars, and maybe I will come out. The water in this place is very deep, so it is better to take it easy. Then, Yuan-Jie discussed with these people that they could sleep on the big bed and sleep on the sofa by themselves. For Yuan-Jie's orders, these people are very obedient. This makes Yuan-Jie feel a little like he has poured ecstasy soup for these people. This is how the first day in the Holy Land of Malihoa passed. The next day after Wanji woke up in a daze. I felt like I was touching something soft. When Yuan-jae arrived, he discovered that those people were sleeping beside him. Moreover, what his hand touched just now was something that should not have been touched. Seeing such a scene, Yuan-jae's mind was blank at this time, even for a strong man like him. What is this situation? Did I do something monstrous? Saying that, Yuan-jae looked at his crotch. It seems that his pants have not been taken off. Yuan-jae is relieved at this time. Yuan-jae found at this time that he was sleeping on the sofa. I didn't sleepwalk at night. What is this situation? Yuan-jae has been single for decades. When encountering such a thing, Yuan-jae at this time is inevitably hot and uneasy. Oh shit, these women never thought that they would be so shameless to seduce me like this. Fortunately, my Yuan-jae is not an ordinary person. What I didn't do out of the ordinary was to come out of youth. Yuan-jae could not help but sigh. He took advantage of others, and Yuan-jae was embarrassed at this time, woke the woman up, and then taught them a good lesson. Therefore, at this time, Yuan-jae could only leave in despair. It seems that I still don't live with these guys. I accidentally planted seeds in this world, and then I will be in trouble. Therefore, Yuan-jae decided that he would have a good understanding of the Holy Land Marijoa. Although he is a traveler, he knows very little about the Holy Land Marijoa. Of course, Yuan-jae also knew that the sacred place of the Tianlong people, Marijoa, was definitely not easy. Therefore, taking advantage of this opportunity, I have a good understanding of this Holy Land Marijoa. Hey yourself, keep a low profile, after all, this is the Holy Land of the Tianlong people. This is naturally the top combat power of the world government. The Navy is only a part of the world government's combat power. The 5 old stars in Yimu are very mysterious, and I don't know the strength of the other party, if the other party finds out. No matter how strong you are and how many devil fruits you have, you are likely to be caught by these people. Yuan-jae came out in a sullen mood. After coming out, Yuan-jae changed his previous appearance. He walked like a waste, and when he swayed, he looked very bad. In order to imitate a little more, Yuan-jae had to do this. This Charles Ross Saint was very bad, there is no doubt about that. As for why Yuan-jae came out in despair, it was because he slept other people's wives. Yuan-jae did not expect that such a thing would happen. He also didn't know why some people would sleep beside him. Although these guys took the initiative, Yuan-jae felt very guilty at this time. The environment of this Holy Land Marijoa is very good, the birds and flowers are fragrant, and the houses here are also scattered. Obviously this is carefully planned. I didn't expect that these Tianlong people would enjoy it like this. Yuan-jae secretly complained in his heart. Good morning, Lord Charles rose. At this time, Yuan-jae's maid who was watering saw St. Charles rose and immediately knelt down to say hello. This is the courtesy of the commoners to the nobles of the world government with them. Of course, in Yuan-jae's view, these Tianlong people think they are superior to others. Seeing such a scene, Yuan-jae couldn't help frowning at this time. He was thinking of calling him to get up. But thought, since I am a Tianlong person now, I can only play it. It's better not to be seen through. If the 5 old stars in Yimu, the Lord of the Dragons of the Sky, are provoked, then it will be bad. After thinking for a while, Yuan-jae held his head high, completely ignoring this servant. Yuan-jae walked aimlessly in this Marijoa. I'm looting devil fruit in one piece, chapter 61-80. 61. Liberate slaves. At this moment, someone suddenly said to him, St. Charles. I didn't expect your guy to be caught. If I was caught, I wouldn't be as rubbish as you. All the people above were arrested and tortured one by one, that guy must be hiding among these people. But you were really ashamed. To be humiliated by such a lowly guy. Also, your slave isn't too good. Isn't he very powerful, can't even handle such a guy. The person who spoke was a guy who was wearing almost the same outfit as Yuanj himself, and he also wore a hood. This guy is also a dragon. As for this Tianlong person, he looks crooked and looks very wretched. Yuanj also doesn't know why. I just feel that these Tianlong people look very wretched. I don't know if it's because of genetics, or because these guys wear a hood all day and are often caused by lack of oxygen. The current Saint Charles is impersonated by Yuanj, so he doesn't know the name of the guy in front of him. At this time, Yuanj felt that he didn't need to know. Yuanj only knew that this guy came to find fault when he saw it. Yuanj frowned and thought to himself. This rubbish like Saint Charles Rose, don't set up a glorious image of this guy. However, at a time like this, he really couldn't stand the Tianlong man in front of him. Saint Charles, this time, I will teach you a lesson to the guy in front of you, and let this guy take a big advantage. Yuanj began to think about how he could teach the guy in front of him a good lesson. I definitely can't do it directly with a guy. If you do it against the guy, you will definitely be in a lot of trouble. He didn't want others to notice him. He is not the real Saint Charles. If many people notice him, his identity will definitely be exposed. Therefore, at this time, you should keep a low profile. Seeing this very arrogant guy on weekdays being scolded like this by himself, the Tianlong person at this time was very happy. Saint Charles rose. This is my slave. The value of this guy is not low, but barely cost me hundreds of millions. When I go out, I still have to bring a bodyguard. Those low-level guys are good things, don't be reluctant. Can't afford the money. After saying this, the Tianlong person added, do you want me to lend you this Tianlong person? Don't worry, I won't charge you. You look like a poor ghost. After seeing the slave, Yuanji's eyes lit up at this time. Since I can't do anything to this guy in front of me, I can make a fuss about using this slave. Yuanji turned around slightly, and then used the power of the fluttering fruit. Flying the opponent's slave out of thin air, and then let this ability disappear for 100 years. Then he smashed the guy in front of him. Yuanji's speed is very fast. The guy didn't see anything out of the ordinary. That slave was also slightly taken aback at this time. Then, the expression on his face contorted. He was very frightened at this time. Contrary, he didn't know what happened, but at this time he smashed towards his master Tianlongren. At that time, he will definitely not end well. Although he didn't know what happened, he was the one who smashed the opponent. When the thought slave smashed towards the Tianlongren, the hand on his neck also exploded. The slave in front of him is not far from this guy, so the guy was not only smashed by that slave, but also blown up by the aftermath of the explosion. Naturally, these will not cause any harm to Yuanj. But at this time, Yuanj retreated. As for that guy, this time he is not dead or disabled. For these Tianlong people, Yuanj has no mercy. These guys bully men and bully women and do all kinds of evil, which makes Ashes disgusted when Yuanj arrives. Therefore, if these people die, there will be one less scourge in this world. When that slave fell, that slave went mad. He was fine, he didn't know why this happened. When such a thing happened, I would definitely not feel better then, but these Tianlong people did not regard them as human beings. I'm going home. I'm not a pirate anymore. I just want to be a good ordinary citizen. I've changed my mind, please let me go. At this time, he wanted to get off the collar he was wearing on his neck. Seeing this guy like this, Yuanj at this time was considered a kind-hearted person, and then used the power of the shaking fruit to shatter the collar on the opponent's neck. Seeing that the slave knew that the collar on his neck had disappeared, it was completely unbelievable. Because he never dreamed of it all. Ha ha, I'm finally free. Ha ha. Although, this slave was vomited blood just now by the explosion of the collar. But at this time, that guy didn't care about these things. Although he was coughing up blood at this time, he was laughing wildly at this time. Seeing such a scene, Yuan Jie was also shocked at this time. This guy is crazy. However, a pirate who can't die will probably go crazy when such a thing happens. These Tianlong people are simply not human. Yuan Jie sighed in his heart. That slave was obviously born a pirate, but he is not stupid. Soon, the guy regained his composure. Although he was rescued from the collar, he still hadn't escaped from this place. It may be a holy place for these Tianlong people, but for him, this place is simply a purgatory on earth. Soon, he discovered Yuanj not far away. I'll catch this guy and threaten the world government and the navy. I'll be able to leave this place maliciously soon. The other party is a Tianlong person, they dare not listen to me. That pirate said it without hesitation. Hearing this, Yuan Jie was also slightly startled, because he didn't expect that this guy would have such thoughts. However, Yuan Jie still has things to do. How can he be captured by the other party? He obviously did not agree. Yuan Jie didn't get tough with the other party at this time. After all, this is the Holy Land Mary Joa, and there are many powerful guys. If you defeat this guy, how will you explain it? This Charles Rose Saint is not so powerful, and will soon be found out by others that he is a fake. Therefore, at this time, the Yuan Song can only run. That's right, just run. 62. Slaughtering Tianlong people. If the other party didn't catch up with you, that's forgivable. After thinking of this, Yuan Jie began to run away. It is no doubt that it is cumbersome for me to have my own boat in such a way. However, Yuan Jie's speed is very fast, so these are nothing to Yuan Jie at all. After Yuan Jie ran for a while, the guy reacted. At this time, he didn't have any anxiety. Because in his opinion, these Tianlong people are just pigs. That guy eats like that, and that guy wears so much. Of course not running fast. Of course, the most important thing is that he is a giant. Your body is several times bigger than the others. Of course, his legs are several times longer than the opponent's legs, and if he takes a step, it is more than 10 meters. Therefore, the opponent simply cannot run away from him. Just you guys, you really thought you could run past my Morocco. I won't let you dragon people go. Having said that, the guy called Morocco then chased after Yuan Jie. For this guy, Yuan Jie is of course very speechless. Because he ran away, the other party didn't even chase him. At this time, Yuan Jie began to doubt. But soon, the other party came after him. Yuan Jie was also emotional in his heart. Why are these giants so slow to react? If I didn't control the speed, I would have no shadow. Soon, the guy named Morocco caught up. In this regard, Yuan Jie is very satisfied. Yuan Jie did not widen the distance at this time. Because in that case, it is very likely that the other party will not come to arrest him. As for why? Naturally, let this guy take the blame. That Tianlong man was so bombed and crushed that he was already half paralyzed. You can't let yourself be blamed for this. You know, that guy is his own nemesis, and the other party is likely to rely on his own head. Therefore, Yuan Jie came up with such a method. It was morning, but no one saw it. If you want other people to see such a scene, then you will be able to clear your suspicions. Of course, if you want to act, you have to act like a little bit. At this moment, Yuan Jie was running and shouting, "Help! The slave is killed." Yuan Jie shouted like this. This made Morocco very angry. Because he didn't expect this kid to catch him for so long, and he didn't catch it. And, the kid shouted loudly. It's easy to attract other people. He is now in the mood to shoot Yuanj. It's a pity that I just can't catch the opponent. This makes Morocco begin to doubt life. If you know this, you will be in trouble earlier. Or arrest that Tianlong man. Boy, stop for me, or I'll be rude to you. With that said, the guy punched out. However, this did not hit the Yuan Song. Yuan Jie continued to run at this time, and he looked like he was falling down at any time. Morocco was also ruthless in his heart. Just you Tianlong people, fat like a pig. I can't believe it, oh Morocco can't catch you. If I catch up with you, boy, I will definitely have a good look at you at that time. That Morocco also cursed inwardly. In this way, Morocco has been chasing behind Yuan Jie. Over time, this Morocco is going crazy. Because he did not expect that the Tianlong people would be able to run like this. This guy looked like he was going to stop at any time, but after chasing him for so long, he still hadn't caught up with him. Boy, stop for me, stop. Morocco was gasping for breath at this time. At this time, Morocco was about to cry. How happy he was just now, how sad he is now. Obviously, it is very difficult for him to escape from this place unless he catches that Tianlong person. But after chasing him for so long, he still hadn't caught up with the other party. You know, the distance between yourself and the other party is not very far. But he just can't catch him. If you can't catch the other party, you don't know what will happen when you wait. I treat Tianlong people like this, and I even chase Tianlong people. This is Marijoa, the sacred place of the Draconians, and it is full of personnel from the Navy and the world government. Moreover, the terrain here is steep, and it is difficult for me to escape from such a place. You stop for me. At this time, Morocco is simply hysterical. His eyes were red at this time. He didn't want to be caught by the Tianlong people once. If he was caught by the Tianlong people again, it would be very difficult for him to escape this place. Yuan Jie naturally ignored the other party, but shouted harder. Killing. Slaves are killing people. Help. Yuan Jie shouted like this. Soon someone arrived. However, those Tianlong people who felt it were just watching the fun. Because they don't have the ability to deal with this guy. The main thing is that the relationship between these heavenly dragons is not very good, and St. Charles Rose was humiliated by such a lowly person before, which is simply the shame of their heavenly dragons. Therefore, they watched silently at this time, desperate for help. As for Yuan Jie, at this time, of course, there is no peace of mind. For these Tianlong people, he is very annoying. Doing the act of bullying men and women one by one is simply inferior to pigs and dogs. Yuan Jie directly led Morocco towards that direction. After Yuan Jie led Yuan Jie Morocco to that place, Yuan Jie fled and said to Morocco behind him, Can you not chase me alone? There are so many Tianlong people here. There are more than one Tianlong people. When Morocco heard this, his originally angry mood was greatly relieved at this time. Tianlong people are not only the other person, they can catch other Tianlong people. Moreover, the guy in front of him felt that he had caught it brightly, but he just couldn't catch it. If it wasn't for the fact that he was about to catch the other party, Morocco would have given up long ago. Hearing what the other party said, Morocco's eyes lit up. Then he chased after the others. Seeing such a scene, the faces of the Tianlong people who were watching the lively became ashen. Because they didn't expect that this guy would actually say these words. They ridiculed Yuan Jie in every possible way and were very proud, but at this time, they were running away like mice crossing the street. Charles Saint, you bastard. I'm not finished with you. You bastard. If I die, it's not over with you. 63. Killing Tianlong people like slaughtering dogs. All of a sudden, roars were heard everywhere. At this time, they all dispersed. Seeing such a scene, Yuan Jie was very satisfied at this time. Because let these guys suffer a little bit. Because these guys are high and mighty, he has long disliked these guys. As for them resenting themselves, these have nothing to do with him, because they are now St. Charles. All this was done by Charles Rose, and he had nothing to do with him. Seeing these people like this, Yuan Jie was very happy. That Morocco soon chased those guys. Of course, some of those guys are now bringing their own slaves. However, this Morocco is really as Dana said before, and it is really very powerful. It is indeed a guy who spent hundreds of millions of Baileys to sell. Soon, Morocco caught a Draco. He roared after the Draconian was captured. "You'd better let me go. Otherwise, I'm welcome to you." These Tianlong people did not regard these guys as human beings, so even if they were caught by the other party, they were still unyielding. Of course, it's not that these guys have the backbone. But these guys are very arrogant, even very stupid. They want to use their identities to intimidate each other. "If I let you go, I won't be able to leave this place. You Tianlong people don't see us as human at all. And it's you who I am arresting." Morocco said it bluntly. "Bold, you guys are the lowest slaves in the first place. We are the high-ranking Tianlong people. If you dare to treat me like this, the world government will not let you go." At this time, the Tianlong people are still indomitable. "Ha ha ha, the world government won't let me go. In that case, at least I have the dignity to live, but now I might as well die instead of living like this." At this time, Morocco laughed a little crazy. "I am a Bailey pirate with a bounty of 8,000, and now I have fallen to such a level 1 inch. I'm a pirate, and the Navy won't let me go. You guys are unforgivable. Even if I don't have to die, it won't make you celestial dragons live." Morocco's tone was very firm at this time. He has long been prepared to be immortal with these Tianlong people. After catching that one, he started to attack the Tianlong man frantically. "You damned bastards, give me all to die. If you are an enemy of the world government, you will be an enemy. Am I, Morocco, afraid of you guys? Don't you look down on us. Let the lowly humans in your mouth end you guys. Ha ha ha, even if I die today, what can I do? I still earn." At this time, Morocco laughed madly. The laugh is very intimidating. Seeing Morocco like this, the other Tianlong people had to start to be afraid at this time. "This guy is crazy, run." At this time, a Tianlong man shouted. They don't have any reason to talk to this guy at this time. As for the Tianlong person before that, Morocco did not kill the other party. Maybe this guy is going to catch a Tianlong person, and then he will leave a way out for himself. He launched an attack on the Tianlong people. Those Tianlong people were completely unattended. They are delicious and lazy, all fat like a pig. And they all wore special clothes made by the dragons that looked like space suits, and the clothes were very bulky. Therefore, they don't run very fast. He was quickly caught up by Morocco. When Morocco caught up, it just fell directly with a fist. Those Tianlong people who were powerless to fight back were directly blown up by that Morocco. The blood splattered everywhere, and the flesh and blood were beaten into slush by the opponent. Obviously, this Morocco also did not hold any hands. And he is very resentful towards these Tianlong people. After killing those dragons, Morocco laughed madly. At this time, he was covered in blood and looked like a killing god. Seeing such a scene, those heavenly dragon people were wailing one by one at this time. Those who were slaves, order their slaves to resist at this time. However, these slaves are obviously not the opponents of this Morocco. Morocco's strength is also very terrifying. Morocco was chasing those Tianlong people. It was a fist, the blood splattered and the flesh flew. Horrible. These heavenly dragon people, at this time, no longer look like they were aloof and indomitable before. At this time, they were constantly crying and panicking. At this time, Morocco was like a god of death, coming to take their lives. No, I'm a heavenly dragon. And some obsessive guys. Now they have become like this, and they also use their identities to threaten each other. However, Morocco at this time did not take them seriously. Soon, those Tianlong people were solved by a few fists from Morocco. After Morocco settled those people, his eyes quickly turned to Yuanj. "Boy, I didn't catch you before. I'll catch you this time. You guy did this to me just now. If you were caught by me before, maybe I just caught you, but now I have caught it's a man, and this matter can't be let other people know. Therefore, if you want to blame, you will blame you for seeing things that you shouldn't see, and encountering things you shouldn't encounter. Murako's eyes were fierce and murderous. Hearing the other party's words, Yuan-Jie was very helpless at this time. If it wasn't for him, could the other party escape? This is revenge. All right. It seems that the other party does not know that he saved the other party. If possible, Yuan-Jie can solve the other party. The other celestial beings are dead, only oneself survived. As long as you are not a fool, you will know that all this must have nothing to do with yourself. Therefore, at this time, Yuan-Jie couldn't take action against a guy. At this time, Yuan-Jie is still the same as before, so he will run away. I was run away by you last time. This time I will definitely not be run away by you. Murako said unceremoniously. Then, almost the same as before, Murako began to pursue Yuan-Jie again. Yuan-Jie naturally did not try his best. It is still the same as before, and the distance from the other party is not very large. If the record with the other party is too far apart, the opponent will definitely feel that he can't catch up with himself, and then give up. At this time, Yuan-Jie naturally wanted other people to see it. If you can kill Tianlong people like you did just now, then kill some Tianlong people. Anyway, these Tianlong people don't have a few good things. 64. This Tianlong person is very special. Even if there are good things, it is no longer a Tianlong person. Help! This lowly slave has murdered. Help! Being called like that, Murako's face turned ashen. Because it's been such a long journey. This time, he didn't catch up with the other party. This made him feel very helpless. What tricks did you use, kid? Why can't I catch up to you? Murako asked at this time. You can't catch up with me, that's because you are a waste. Yuan-Jie struck rudely. Because it's really not a good thing to see. Bastard, look at Lao Su not killing you. That Murako scolded. Yuan-Jie didn't pay too much attention to this. Soon, a lot of Tianlong people were attracted. As before, those Tianlong people were directly killed by the opponent. One punch, it couldn't be simpler. That punch flew the flesh and blood of the Tianlong people. At this time, Yuan-Jie deliberately led the other party to the place where those Tianlong people gathered. By the way, Yuan-Jie freed other slaves through his own abilities. Just be a good person. Then, those freed slaves also joined the pursuit team. As for Murako, it is extremely ignorant. Because he didn't get the collars of these guys off at all. These guys got their collars on somehow. You know, these collar materials are very simple to make up. Therefore, it is difficult to get down. Unless there is a Tianlongren's key, this time it can be opened. Even if it is forcibly opened, it will suffer an explosion. These celestial dragons have made things that can explode on their collars. Suddenly, dozens of Tianlong people died. Those Tianlong people just came out of the house, and they were directly smashed by these guys. This movement is not small, and this Yuan-Jie is shouting here. It also attracted a lot of attention. Murako was almost insane at this time. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Aren't these celestial beings aloof? Don't they see me as human beings at all? Today we're going to keep these heavenly dragons killed in this place. If you are afraid, then leave. If you are desperate brothers, you can join me and kill these most abominable Tianlong people. Even if I die today, I will die with no regrets. Murako laughed very happily at this time. By this time, he was already dead. I am willing to follow you. I will not leave the armor of these Tianlong people to kill. I do too. These celestial dragons robbed my wife and arrested me too. This hatred is deadly. I will not spare the killing of these celestial dragons who bully men and women. Oh, and these celestial dragons don't give up. Oh my god, I must kill these guys who are not as good as pigs and dogs. These guys also learned to be addicted to killing, and they responded to Murako's words one by one. Because they have all been devastated by the Tianlong people. one by one is very resentful to these Tianlong people. Therefore, when Morocco finished saying these words, they responded one by one. When the cross pirates attacked the heavenly dragons, they left a fortune, and today we have left a fortune here. Today, we will kill these heavenly dragons without leaving behind. And then under the leadership of this Morocco, one by one, these guys started slaughtering the dragon people. You guys go over there and start slaughtering these heavenly dragon people, you guys go over there. Leave a few people behind and follow me to kill that guy runs very fast, I haven't killed him a few times. Kill, I don't believe it, this time I can't kill that guy. Saying that, Morocco pointed to Yuanj. Seeing this, Yuanj didn't know what to say at this time. This guy wanted to kill himself several times, but this guy never killed himself. Now this guy is still not giving up, and even wants to kill himself. Doesn't this guy have the slightest sense? Yuanj secretly complained in his heart. Although he was thinking that way in his heart, Yuanj said to the other party at this time, you killed you. All of this has nothing to do with me. Why did you send so many people to kill me? You should go and kill other Tianlong people. Quote. Yuanj discouraged these people at this time. Because he also wants these guys to kill more of those Tianlong people. After all, the number of Tianlong people here is also limited. Boy, after we kill you, we will kill other people. You are not dead, if we go to inform, we will be in trouble. At this time, someone said unceremoniously. Hearing this, Yuanj secretly said in his heart. You have made such a big move one by one, do you want me to inform you? Although Yuanj thought so in his heart, at this time, Yuanj said to these people slyly, don't worry. I will never tell the truth, and I will not make fun of my life. Ha ha ha, are all the Tianlong people such cowards? Hearing this, Yuanj was very speechless. But thought. Oh, it doesn't seem to be a Tianlong person, I am just using the identity of a Tianlong person now, this guy is not me. Boy, don't think that you can escape today. I'll see if you're upset if I'm looking for something special. Morocco said it unceremoniously at this time. Because of the previous events, this Moroccan gas almost vomited blood. It is very resentful for Yuanj Morocco. But fortunately, I met other Tianlong people and rescued people like myself. This time, it will be like this. After saying this, Morocco chased after Yuanj. While chasing, the Morocco said to the other two, you guys stop this guy on both sides, this guy's ability to escape is very unusual. The three started to chase Yuanj. Seeing this, Yuanj ran away. As for all that, it's definitely for acting. If you do it yourself against a few people, you can solve it at once. But there is a real danger of revealing his identity. Although no one noticed him at this time, he still had to keep a low profile. There is another reason. Naturally, these guys can teach these Tianlong people a good lesson for themselves. It would be very inconvenient to do it yourself. However, he can pass through the hands of these people. Although the three pursued Yuanj, they were still the same as before. Yuan Song was not caught. Yuanj pretended to escape several times. The men chased for a while, but still failed to catch up. But still didn't catch up. This makes these few begin to doubt life. Because the Tianlong person in front of him seems to be very unusual. What is the situation with this guy? Let's give up. This time someone suggested. 65, let's run away. Seeing this, Morocco thought about it at this time, and then said, okay. If we can't catch up, then let's give up. As for whether the other party will go to inform, it has nothing to do with it at this time. There is trouble here. Such a big movement has already attracted the attention of other people. It will soon attract the attention of other people. Why don't we deal with other Tianlong people? These people finally gave up attacking Yuanj at this time. Because of the guy in front of him, he was about to chase him, but he couldn't catch up with him. Seeing these people like this, Yuanj was relieved at this time. Of course, he was not afraid of being caught by the other party. Of course, he is still very confident that these people can't catch him. At this time, he didn't use Momo's fruit ability at all. If the ability of Momo's fruit is used, these guys will never try to catch up with them for the rest of their lives. Of course, Yuan Jie at this time wasn't a big deal at all. He is also ready to add a fire to these. Because you can do things while there is chaos. Doing things are easy to spot if it's not cluttered. This is the so-called fishing in troubled waters. Yuan Jie started to follow closely behind these people. See what these people are up to. Should I take advantage of the chaos and solve some guys? These Tianlong people are not good birds, or when they attack, I will secretly release his slaves. At that time, I will definitely be able to deal with this Holy Land Mary Joa. Chaos. Yuan Jie murmured softly. These guys did not go to the place where the Tianlong people gathered. At this time, they instead walked towards the place where there were few Tianlong people. Shouldn't we be reconciling with those other people? In this regard, I asked the Moroccan guy very curiously at this time. Yeah, we should mix with those guys now and make this Mary Joa big. Another suggested. If you want to die, go to die, I won't stop you. Now, while the chaos, let's get out of this ghost place. Morocco proposed this time. After saying this, Morocco continued to add, those guys are not even my opponents, and they won't be able to make any big waves. The combat power of this place is not weaker than the Navy at all, this place is the world government. I know that there are many organizations of the world government, and there are also the masters of the world in this place, the 5 old stars. The strength of those guys is very average. We can't be opponents of the other party at all. So, at this time, the only way to escape is to take advantage of the chaos. In this case, we may have a glimmer of hope to get out of this place. Hearing this, the two were also slightly startled. Because they don't know anything about that. Soon, someone realized something, and then said to the Morocco, could it be that it was also your plan to chase that Tianlong man just now? You deliberately pretended that you couldn't catch up with that guy. When Morocco heard this, he was stunned for a moment, then nodded tiredly. When seeing such a scene, Yuan Jie at this time was very contemptuous of Morocco. Because he didn't expect that Morocco would think of this. To the other party that he couldn't catch up with him was because he did it on purpose. Yuan Jie only felt that the other party was very fake. Because the other party really can't catch up with you, making the other party feel like he's catching up with you, that's all your own intentions. What has he become like chasing himself before? This guy is really fake. Yuan Jie then quietly followed behind these people. He wanted to see what these people were going to do. In this way, Yuan Jie has been following behind these people. Of course, these people don't even know it. If they knew, these people would definitely attack themselves. Yuan Jie originally thought that these people would take the special channel. But Yuan Jie never thought that these guys actually walked towards the place where he came. And walked towards a garrison soldier. Who are you? After seeing these people, the guy who guarded the door also scolded at this time. As for the two guys at this time, they were also extremely stunned. Which set is this going to come from? As for Yuan Jie, he naturally knew that Morocco wanted to threaten these guys by kidnapping the Tianlong people. Now, the other party is Hu Liamin, but he has also caught a Tianlong man. After knowing all this, Yuan Jie ignored it, because it seemed very boring to Yuan Jie. These guys are not devil fruit powers either. These dragon people generally like to catch giants. Because of this, he can ride on them. And these are generally not devil fruit abilities. This is not to say that giants do not have devil fruits, but they are extremely rare. Yuan Jie can be sure that the guys in front of him are not devil fruit powers. I'd better go and see what those guys look like over there. Would you like to light a fire? Yuan Jie murmured softly at this time. He is not a good person, and for these very annoying Tianlong people, he is even more not a good person. At this time, he just wanted to do things in this place. Let yourself know a little more about this holy place, Mary Joa. You know, this Mary Joa is very mysterious. Yuan Jie didn't know much about this Mary Joa. As for those guys, I don't know if they were fooled by Morocco, or if they were full of resentment towards these Tianlong people. These guys rushed directly into the area where the dragon people lived. After seeing those celestial dragons, one by one, they chased their prey like a wolf seeing a rabbit. Seeing these people seem to be possessed, Yuan Jie could only watch from a distance at this time, for fear that these guys will attack him. Of course, Yuan Jie secretly killed some Tianlong people, and secretly took down the collar of the slaves of those Tianlong people. Therefore, this slave that is more and more. They are constantly slaughtering these Tianlong people. Soon someone will come to deal with these slaves. Those guys are obviously people from the world government. Although those guys are not weak one by one, but at this time, the ones killed by these slaves are also retreating again and again. These slaves are the guys bought by these Tianlong people at a large price, and their strength is very good. Because these world government guys are no match for them at all. Soon, a guy discovered Yuanj. There's another heavenly dragon man. Brothers, kill this nasty guy for me. Yuan Jie did not expect that he would be discovered. Seeing this, Yuan Jie's expression changed slightly. I'm just watching the fun. You don't need to kill them all. Yuan Jie said to these people at this time. Bah, there is no good thing to save you Tianlong people. If you don't have the protection of the world government, you will be chased and killed. Since we will all die today, if we die today, we will also find a few. The Tianlong people are on their backs, killing one is just right, killing two is naturally a gain, and killing more is naturally more profitable. That's right, you Tianlong people should be killed. Don't be polite to these guys. Then, these guys chased Yuanj. Seeing this, Yuan Jie at this time naturally ran away. 66. Lord Yimu Reward. Don't let this guy run away. The people in the back roared angrily. At this time, Yuan Jie started the scene before. At this time, he was running and begging for help. And at this time, Yuan Jie deliberately moved these people to the place where those Tianlong people gathered. Because other Tianlong people were basically killed by these guys. Even those guys from the world government were killed by these guys at this time. Because these people never expected that so many guys would get rid of their collars. These people were chasing after Yuan Jie. However, after chasing for a distance, Yuan Jie was not caught. That guy is as fat as a pig. But why didn't you think that this guy would run into the liver so fast? Yeah, that kid seems a little wicked. What nonsense. That guy is not a good person at first glance. Just catch that kid and kill him. I don't believe that we guys can't even catch this guy. The one in the lead scolded angrily. These people are still steadfast to Yuanj. Even if they encounter those Tianlong people, they ignore them at all. Seeing this, Yuan Jie also cursed in his heart at this time. Don't these guys just dislike me so much? You can't catch up with me, don't you have any self-knowledge? Killing one of my heavenly dragons is worth killing a few heavenly dragons. Yuan Jie also wanted to kill these abominable Tianlong people under the guise of these people. Therefore, Yuan Jie had no choice at this time, and he ran directly out of the sight of these guys. This guy didn't expect to run so fast. Let's stop chasing this guy. Seeing Yuan Jie's disappearing back, they felt very unwilling. But this time they have no other way. When Yuan Jie escaped from the sight of these people, he was also relieved. However, Yuan Jie didn't have any good feelings for these guys. Because why are these guys staring at themselves? However, Yuan Jie knew that such a killing would not take long. Although the guys from the world government were defeated by these guys before, but now there will be strong ones coming soon. Those strong people are not vegetarians. At this time, a middle-aged woman appeared behind Yuan Jie. Watching Yuan Jie surreptitiously look at the killing side. At this time, a woman asked curiously, "What happened over there?" Yuan Jie heard this, and then looked at the woman in front of him. This is a middle-aged woman with a beautiful face, and her figure is also very good, and Yuan Jie can see from the dress of the other party that the guy in front of him is also a Tianlong person. It's just that the Tianlong in front of him is different from the others. All of them are wearing helmets, but the guy in front of him is not wearing a helmet. Seeing Yuan Jie surreptitiously here, the middle-aged woman asked curiously, "What happened over there? It seems that those slaves were disobedient and killed a lot of us Tianlong people." Yuan Jie did not hide it at this time, but said to the other party, "Indeed. If I hadn't run fast, I would have been killed by those crazy guys." "Then you know where those guys are, take me there with your mourning," the Tianlong woman urged anxiously at this time. Yuan Jie ignored these. At this time, he said to the other party, "I ran for a long time just now, this time, escape, let me take a breath." Yuan Jie still pretended to be panting at this time. When the middle-aged woman saw Yuan Jie like this, he didn't pay any attention to Yuan Jie at this time, but chased after the noisy side. When Yuan Jie saw the speed of the other party, Yuan Jie's face changed greatly at this time. Because that middle-aged woman was very fast. This guy is no ordinary person. As this guy I am. Yuan Jie was full of doubts at this time. Because it was something he hadn't thought of. Yuan Jie followed curiously at this time. Yuan Jie didn't know much about this I am. Because this guy is very mysterious, whether the other party is male or female, Yuan Jie is also very uncertain. However, this guy's strength is very unusual. Yuan Jie has never seen each other. And the opponent's strength is very unusual. After Yuan Jie followed, those guys who couldn't even solve the world government. However, it was solved at once by that middle-aged woman. Seeing such a scene, Yuan Jie became more and more suspicious that the middle-aged woman in front of him was Yimu. Because the opponent's strength is obviously unusual. Soon, several old men came over. The old man looked very serious. 4 of them were dead in suits. And only one was wearing training clothes. Yuan Jie can be very sure that these guys in front of him are the 5 old stars. After seeing the middle-aged woman, the 5 old stars also bowed slightly, and then said to the middle-aged woman, "Goodbye, Lord Yimu." That thought that middle-aged women didn't take all this to heart. She frowned, and then angrily scolded these people, 5 old stars. "You guys, such a big thing happened in this holy place, you arrived late. Are you going to watch our Tianlong people get killed? Have all these lowly bastards been killed?" When seeing Lord Yimu like this, all the 5 old stars at this time also changed color on their wrinkled faces. Then they just knelt down. "My lord, this is our dereliction of duty, and we must be punished." Hearing this, at this time, a middle-aged woman did not give the 5 old stars any good looks, but scolded, "Do you think it's enough to punish you? Those who were killed by those lowly slaves can be resurrected. I am that is very dissatisfied with these 5 old stars. These guys rioting, although not caused by these people, but they have an inseparable relationship with these guys. Therefore, was very angry." At this time, Yuanj was absolutely certain that this middle-aged woman was Naam. This made Yuan Jie also very shocked. Because he didn't expect that the world's struggle to dominate is really a woman. Yuan Jie was secretly observing at this time. "Come out. Now that you're here, why are you hiding a lot?" said rudely at this time. Hearing this, Yuan Song also came out at this time. Then he said to the Imam, "Meet Lord I saw a group of people running towards that direction. Those people should be fleeing from this place." At this time, Yuan Jie directly exposed the whereabouts of those people before. 67. Accepted by and reward. Frowned at this time. He stared at Yuan Jie and looked up and down. Seeing such a scene, at this time, the 5 old stars couldn't help frowning. Because they did not expect that the boy in front of him was so bold. As for who is Charles Rose, they still know. Even if they didn't know it, but the last time St. Charles Rose was kidnapped, there was a lot of uproar in the world, and it was impossible for them not to know the Lord in front of them. At this time, Yuan Jie showed a naive look. At this time, he was also looking up and down at the Lord I Am in front of him. When the 5 old stars saw Yuanj like this, they were also furious. Boy, this is the leader of our Tianlong people, how dare you be so presumptuous in front of Lord Yimu? Bold. The bearded guy from the 5 old stars saw that St. Charles Ross treated I Am like this. I was also very worried. Even their 5 old stars are very respectful to Imna. But the St. Charles Rose in front of him doesn't know if he has given his brain to what, and this guy treats Lord Yim like this. Yimu waved his hand at this time, he looked at Yuan Jie quite playfully at this time, and then said lightly, "Boy, I think your courage is very fat. Now that this situation is happening here, you dare to come over here." Master Yimu, those people can't run away from me. As long as the other party can't run away from me, then the other party can't kill me no matter what. Yuan Jie said to I Am at this time. There is still a smile on his face, a silly look. Not bad. You look silly, but I didn't expect to have a little bit of wit. I Am sighed at this time. Obviously, she didn't see Yuan Jie in front of her eyes either. At the beginning, she was still a little curious, but after hearing what the other party said, she was not so curious at this time. That Charles Saint, what the hell is going on? Do you know all this? At this time, Im's face became serious, and then asked. Lord I Am, I know all this. A friend of mine showed his slave in front of me before, and I don't know why. The guy's slave's collar was dropped by the guy, so the guy escaped. As for the other slaves, it was the same slave who did it. He took off the collars on the necks of the other slaves. Then they killed the Draconians when they saw them. That's all I know. After Yuanj finished saying this, Yimu at this time ran directly in the direction Yuanj pointed. The speed of the other party is extremely fast, which Yuanj has to admit. Just a moment later, I Am came back. The corners of her clothes were still stained with blood. Looking at the blood on the corner of his clothes, I Am also shook his head at this time. Obviously, I am still very dissatisfied with all this. Lord I Am ready to leave. But just as I Am was about to leave, I Am suddenly turned around, and then she looked at Yuan Jie. Seeing Yimu looking at himself at this time, Yuanj's heart was very empty at this time. Because this Im's strength is not ordinary, it is easy for him to be seen by the other party. However, Yimu nodded, and then said to Yuanj, "You kid looks like you still have 2 brushes, and you are obviously capable of escaping from the hands of those who think you are strong, and this time, you dare to come here, you really have a bit of courage. Unlike other Tianlong people, everyone is greedy for life and fear of death. You know, our ancestors created the whole world, with such a little ability, when the time comes the Tianlong people will be finished sooner or later. I think you are very good, otherwise you can study with me for a while." When Yuan Jie heard this, Na was really shocked. Because this I Am seems to want to accept himself as a disciple. If the other party accepts him as a disciple, then he will not have a good life. Of course, his previous plans will definitely be in vain. I came here to collect devil fruits, and I just came to get acquainted with the environment here today. But I didn't expect that such a thing would happen today. Yuan Jie never thought that Imam, the dragon man, would come out and accept himself as his apprentice. At this time, Yuan Jie was regretful. Because all of this together is inseparable from myself. The reason why the slave could take off the collar on his neck was due to Yuan Jie. As for the collars on the necks of other slaves, they were also made by Yuan Jie. Moreover, Yuan Jie also deliberately brought these slaves to the place where the Tianlong people gathered. Therefore, these guys can kill so many Tianlong people. That Lord I Am, I don't think I can bear it. Yuan Jie said embarrassingly at this time. Hearing this, Wu Laoxing's hometown stared at Yuan Jie with a beard, and said in a sullen voice, "St. Charles Ross doesn't know what's good or bad. Lord Yimu values you, that's a blessing you've cultivated, such an opportunity is very good. You can't ask for it. Do you look down on Lord Yimu by rejecting Lord Yimu like this? You must know that Lord Yimu is the leader of our celestial dragons. The king of celestial dragons. That's it." Lord Im didn't give Yuan Jie any explanation either. Then Imam Sama left after leaving a word. 5 old stars. As for the rest, I will leave it to you old guys. If this matter can't be solved, then you shouldn't be in charge of the whole world. Lord Im, we'll make sure this is done beautifully. I am not paying too much attention to the words of the 5 old stars. Not even any answer. After Yimu left, the face of the 5 old stars was very bitter at this time. Although they said it was very simple, this time they killed and injured so many Tianlong people. Even they are in charge of the dragon people. But at this time, they are not good at how to solve it. At first, these Tianlong people must be very angry. The second is that this matter must be suppressed, which is a great shame for their Tianlong people, and it is also in order to avoid others to follow suit. Their heavenly dragons have established a lofty attitude in the world, and other people simply do not dare to attack these people. As for these things, of course, it has nothing to do with Yuanj. He also ran away at this time, because he was afraid that this matter would implicate him again. If these 5 old stars don't have the face to look for themselves, then they will be in trouble. I am unfamiliar with this place, and my identity is very easy to reveal. Looking at the place where Yuan Jie left, Wu Laoxing also shook his head, not knowing what to say. When Yuan Jie left, he was also very embarrassed. Because he just thought about it casually, he never thought that he would cause such a big problem. At this time, he was a little guilty. 68. Temptation. As far as he saw, there were many Tianlong people killed by those slaves. Not to mention what the guide didn't see. You know, those slaves are tortured by these Tianlong people every day. For them, it is simply life rather than death. Therefore, these slaves will kill these dragon people. These have nothing to do with me. These are all you Tianlong people who do too much injustice and will kill themselves. Who told you to treat people like this? I am a good person, and I rescued these guys. Yuan Jie whispered softly in his heart at this time. Because if this matter is known to these Tianlong people will definitely not share the sky with him, even if he is now the 5th emperor. Moreover, although Yuan Jie at this time was the 5 emperors, at this time Yuan Jie did not have the power that a sea emperor should have. This title of his is only because he has a strong strength. After Yuan Jie left that place, he didn't know that the king had left at this time. Where should I go? Yuan Jie didn't know which way to go at this time, it was his first time here. For this place, Yuan Jie was unfamiliar with it. Just as Yuan Jie was thinking about going there, someone suddenly tapped him on the shoulder. St. Charles, I spent a lot of money a few days ago to sell a first-class peerless beauty, do you want to take a look at me? That beauty is definitely to your taste, if you really like it, I will but maliciously give this beauty to you. After all, we are brothers. Yuan Jie only saw a rooster head and a relatively short stature, but this guy was very hungry and wretched when he laughed. Yuan Jie knew that this guy was also a character. Therefore, at this time, Yuan Jie had to agree to such a proposal from the other party. Because Yuan Jie at this time didn't know what the other party was called, so at this time Yuan Jie could only nod his head again and again. Look at me, I'm a brother. I'll keep this peerless beauty for you. That one person is very close to Charles Rose. Yuan Jie didn't know what to say at this time. Just follow behind. Of course, he was thinking while walking Yuan Jie. Do I want to tie this guy up and torture him? At that time, I can know some information about this place, otherwise, I don't know much about this place, and I will be easily dismantled by others. Yuan Jie thought about it for a while, and felt that he would act according to the situation. because it is very necessary to know the things about this place. Otherwise, as he is now, he is simply asking 3 questions. Not sure where to go. Of course, this guy is a talker, and he didn't talk much along the way. But looking at the other party's appearance, Yuan Jie knows that this guy probably doesn't know what happened just now. You know, so many heavenly dragon people have died here. It was a very big deal for them. St. Charles, you're a very powerful boy, and you even escaped. As for the Navy, it's miserable now. What does this mean? St. Charles rose. This shows that if you don't die, you will have good luck. You can't forget my brother when you are rich in the future. Brother, I'm a beauty that I bought so hard, and I haven't enjoyed it myself, so I'm calling you to try it out. If you have a future, you mustn't forget me. St. Charles, why don't you speak up, boy? Oh, I won't forget my brother when I have a lot of success. My brother is so considerate to me, this peerless beauty must be shown to me first, and my brother also looks up to me. Yuan Jie flattered at this time. The older brother in his mouth also shouted very kindly. Of course, Yuan Jie had no choice but to call the other party by such a name. Because I don't know the other person's name. So in order not to reveal the stuffing, I can only use the old brother instead. Along the way, this guy babbled endlessly. Yuan Jie also felt very helpless. Soon, the guy took himself to a luxurious building. The buildings here are very luxurious. Therefore, at this time, Yuan Jie was not at all surprised. Then these Tianlong people are rich and oily. As for why these guys are so rich, it is because the people of other countries offer themselves gold from the sky. Those were an important source of income for these celestial dragons. After the opening, Yuan Jie originally wanted to attack the guy. But there is someone in this house at this time. Yuan Jie guessed that that guy is probably the peerless beauty mentioned in the mouth of the guy in front of him. After thinking of this, Yuan Jie didn't start with a guy. Liji, come out for me, my brother is here. You must take good care of my brother, otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. At this time, the Tianlong man shouted loudly into the room. Soon, a woman came out. The woman was wearing a veil. The layer of veil is almost transparent, and the other party's body can be seen at a glance. The other party is also very sexy. Except for some places that should be covered, other places are not covered. However, this woman is indeed very beautiful. I have to say, this guy really has a vision. Found such a beautiful woman. However, when the woman came out, she was indeed a little timid. Obviously, this woman is very afraid of the Tianlong person in front of her. Yuan Jie could see that this girl was not bought by this guy, but was stolen by this guy. Because these Tianlong people like to bully men and women the most. What are you still doing? Come and serve this St. Charles rose. I'll tell you, if you take care of this guy, maybe I'll let you go. This Tianlong man is obviously threatening the other party. Seeing this, Yuan Jie was very sullen in his heart. Because this guy is a dignified man and threatened a weak woman, Yuan Jie really couldn't stand it at this time. My lord, I don't ask you to spare me. I only ask you to spare my family. The woman named Li Ji begged. At this time, there were still tears in Li Ji's eyes. Obviously, she was also forced by this heavenly dragon. He didn't want to do these things. HMPH. Don't pretend to be pitiful in front of me. I tell you, I've seen a lot of people like you. As for your family members, as long as you behave well, I will naturally let them go. So, you just have to listen to me carefully. The Tianlong person in front of him didn't know how to pity Shangxiu at all. 69. Blackbeard backing the pot, recommended reward. Hearing this, the woman who was still begging, just thumped and knelt on the ground at this time. A bright smile appeared on his face. Still muttering in his mouth. Thank you, sir. Thank you for letting go of my family. I will definitely listen to your words and serve you well. You don't serve me now. All you have to do now is serve my brother. Him. Saying that, the guy pointed at him. Yuan Jie was very helpless at this time. He didn't know what to say at this time. Although this guy kept calling him his brother, Yuan Jie knew that this guy was probably in tune with that Charles Ross, and it wasn't a good thing at first glance. Yuan Song can still be very sure of this. Hearing this, the woman turned her gaze to Yuan Jie. At this time, the scantily clad woman felt like a hungry wolf met his prey. At this time, that woman was not a prey, but a hungry wolf. She looked at herself like this, which made Yuan Jie feel very coy. The woman hesitated for a while, but then who said to Yuan Jie, "Sir, don't worry, my kung fu is very good. I will definitely serve you well." Yuan Jie was trembling a little bit by what the other party said. Of course, Yuan Jie had to admit that the woman in front of her was really pretty. Of course, at this time, it's not that this guy is handsome. The most important thing is that this guy is so revealing and sexy. And at this time, he is still tempting himself nakedly, which is simply tempting himself to commit a crime. Sin. Yuan Jie cursed in his heart. This guy is just seducing me. This guy is trying to induce me to commit a crime. Yuan Jie looked at each other and almost drooled. I have a very dedicated man, how can I be charmed by such a rouge fan? I am a person who has a girlfriend, and that girlfriend is about to become my wife. Maybe I have children now. So, I must collect all the devil fruits and return to my original world. Yuan Jie struggled in his heart for a while, and then came up with these words. Of course, he didn't say these words directly. After thinking about this, Yuan Jie changed his previous appearance. Of course, Yuan Jie cursed inwardly at this time. If I am tempted by this, I will most likely not be able to collect all the devil fruits by then. My #1 priority right now is to collect devil fruits. Can't be bothered by this flowery world. When looking at Yuan Jie like this, the Tianlong man also frowned, and then asked Yuan Jie very curiously, "St. Charles Rose. Is this guy not to your taste? I don't think you have any reaction at all now." Then what kind of reaction do you want? Yuan Jie couldn't bear it any longer. Is that so? Said, at this time, Yuan Jie rushed towards that Tianlong person. Then, Yuan Jie beat the guy wildly. Is that so? St. Charles Rose, are you crazy? I kindly took you to see the beauty, but I didn't expect you to treat me like this. I tell you, I will never spare you. Treating each other with such a beautiful woman, now this guy treats him like this. This made him very angry. Of course, Yuan Jie was also very angry at this time. Because this guy actually bullied men and bullied women, and even robbed women, and even gave them to himself. Obviously, this guy has no good intentions either. This element can still be seen. Yuan Jie first beat this guy up and talk about it. Mind him 3721. St. Charles, girldo, are not finished with you. That guy was beaten by Yuan Jie, and he was very angry in his heart. I'm telling you, I'm not that St. Charles. The St. Charles was caught by me. Yuan Jie said unceremoniously at this time. As for Yuan Jie's words, Boulardo obviously didn't believe it. You should be acting like that. You treat me like this. I said that the 5 old stars must sue you. You treat me like this. That girl Do said angrily at this time. Obviously, for what Yuan Jie said, the guy in front of him didn't believe it at all. Yuan Jie originally wanted to become his original appearance. Otherwise, this guy is a little unconvinced. This guy looks like this, and naturally he won't tell himself something about this Holy Land Mary Joa. These Tianlong people are arrogant and arrogant. If they don't threaten the other party, these guys will definitely not compromise. Just when Yuan Jie changed back to his original state, Yuan Jie also had an idea at this time. I can't change back to the way I was, I can change into someone else's way. After thinking about this, Yuan Jie did not change back to the original appearance. Which guy is the most unbeatable? At this time, Yuan-jae began to think about who he became. Soon, a guy appeared in Yuan-jae's mind, grinning a tooth and looking like he was not beaten. This guy is definitely Blackbeard. If it wasn't for his last plan, he would not have given the secret fruit to the other party. Invasion that kid will teach him a good lesson himself. Then give that guy to Whitebeard. This guy is really a bit nasty. After thinking of this, Yuan-jae also turned into a black beard at this time. At this time, he grinned, looking very wretched. When he saw that St. Charles Rose had become like this, Girldo was also startled at this time. He didn't expect that such a thing would happen. What the hell is going on? Why did St. Charles become like this? For all of this, Goulardo is obviously very unbelievable. Because he is so good at St. Charles, how could he become like this? I'm telling you, it's not that idiot of St. Charles. You really thought that idiot of St. Charles would come out so easily? All this is just played by me. Yuan-jae did not say in a good mood at this time. Hearing this girl is a big kid. This guy doesn't even know what's going on in his head. This eldest brother, even if you're not that guy from St. Charles, I'll give you this beauty. Goulardo, are my words. If you're not satisfied, I can find it for you. For me, the most important thing is beauties. And my eyes are very vicious. I will definitely find you a beautiful girl on an island. At this time, the Goulardo swore to Yuan-jae. Liji, take good care of this person, otherwise, I will not let your family members go. Girldo threatened at this time. Hearing this, Liji at this time was shocked. 70. Precious Tianlong people clothes. She was very worried about her family. The other party is a Tianlong person, but the nobles in this world. He is just an ordinary person, and he is completely unable to resist the orders of the other party. After hearing this, Liji dropped the layer of veil that was covering her body at this time. All that's left at this point is underwear. At this time, Liji was not at all ashamed, and in front of the two big men, she was going to strip herself completely. Obviously, the other party has made a decision. Seeing such a glamorous scene, Yuan-jae wanted to watch it at this time, but at this time Yuan-jae angrily said, "Don't take it off for me again. If you take it off again, be careful, I will kill this guy." Yuan-jae could only threaten the other party like this at this time. However, the other party didn't seem to have listened to Yuan-jae's words. Seeing this, Yuan-jae at this time directly attacked Girldo. "You bitch! Didn't you hear it? Do you want to kill me? If I die, your family will go to the funeral with you." Goulardo watched Yuan-jae do it to himself, so he also spoke at this time. Hearing this, Liji at this time stopped the movement on her hand. Liji turned around and asked blankly, "Then do I still need to serve this lord?" "Of course to serve," Girldo said in a bad mood at this time. Because the guy in front of him is obviously not a messy master. If the other party is angry, the other party is likely to kill himself. You still don't want to easily anger the guy in front of you. If you really anger the guy in front of you, then you are likely to die. Hearing this, Liji at this time was ready to strip herself completely, and then dedicate herself to Yuan-jae. Seeing this, Girldo at this time could not wait to slap the slut in front of him to death. Does this guy know this is a so-called servant? Don't take it off, you can serve this one well without taking off your clothes. Your lord, and it means that your lord doesn't like this kind of thing. If you anger this lord, I don't care about your fellows. Guaranteed. Girldo said in a bad tone. Hearing this, Liji looked at Yuan-jae very seductively at this time, and threw a wink at Yuan-jae. From Liji's point of view, her family's life is in the hands of this heavenly dragon man, Girldo, not in the hands of Yuan-jae. That's why he obeyed Girldo's orders so much. Seeing the other party like this, Yuan-jae really didn't know what to say at this time. I don't want you to serve. As for your family, if you dare to touch your family, I will definitely kill this guy. At this time, Yuan Jie said to the woman in a bad mood. He didn't know what to say at this time. After saying this, Yuan Jie said to Girl Do at this time, "Isn't it?" Seeing this, Girl Do also nodded quickly and said yes. He felt that if he didn't say yes, this guy might do something to himself. Your own life is very precious, and you can't ruin your life just because of those few lives. Seeing this, the woman was very moved. He immediately knelt down and said to Yuan Jie's white shoes, "Thank you, sir." Seeing this, Yuan Jie has a different feeling in his heart. These things had nothing to do with him originally, but he just couldn't get used to them, so he took action. These are the little things. Yuan Jie also waved his hands again and again. After saying this, Yuan Jie added at this time, "Can you put your clothes on?" Hearing this, Li Ji also quickly picked up the veil that fell off the ground and put it on her body. In Yuan Jie's view, that layer of tulle is not much different from not wearing it. Therefore, at this time, Yuan Jie asked, "Can you change another pair? Your pair is a bit." Li Ji hesitated for a while, and then said to Yuan Jie, "I have no other clothes to wear, I only have this one dress to wear." Yuan Jie heard this, and at this time, he also suddenly realized. Obviously, all this was done by the guy in front of him. As for Li Ji dressed in such a way, it is undoubtedly to cultivate interest. She was wearing erotic lingerie without a doubt. When Yuan Jie looked at this girl though, his eyes were very bad. "If you like me, I might not be able to control these things, but today, since you are bullying men and women, since I saw you, then I have to take care of them today. However, I didn't expect that you were actually do you have such thoughts?" Yui said sharply to Goulardo, but behind him, there was obviously some playfulness in his tone. Seeing Yuan Jie like this, Girl Do was very scared at this time. Girl Do felt that if the other party attacked him, then the other party would definitely not be able to escape from this Mary Joa. In Girl Do's view, this guy is a lunatic, but he doesn't dare to anger the other party. Because the other person's life is not as precious as his own. Hurry up and find her a decent dress. At this time, Yuan Jie did not speak in a good mood. My meaning is so obvious, this guy didn't even hear it. I thought this guy was different from other Tianlong people, but I didn't expect this guy to be so stupid. Yuan Jie sighed in his heart. At this time, Girl Do didn't know what to do. Because I don't have women's clothes here, where can I find women's clothes? That Lord, I don't have any women's clothes here. Look at this, I'm asking where other people can look outside. Just wait for me and I'll be back soon. Girl Do said to Yuan Jie at this time. You think I'm stupid? If you go and find someone, what should I do? Yuan Jie said angrily at this time, he is not a fool. If you really run away, then it's best not to be caught by me, otherwise, you will die. At this time, Yuan Jie threatened unceremoniously. Because this guy still thinks he is a fool. If he didn't want to know something from her mouth, Yuan Jie would have already attacked this guy at this time. And it's still a killer. These Tianlong people are not good birds one by one. Didn't you have a dress? You can put that dress on for her. Seeing that the guy was still hesitating, Yuan Jie said unceremoniously to Girl Do, don't think how much mirror cabinet you have, whether it is your life is precious, or yours is precious, if your clothes are expensive, I don't mind burning your clothes for you after killing you. It must be my life. I'll get you clothes. This guy is obviously not stupid, and his own words have said this. Then, the guy frantically went to find clothes. 71. Yimu is a fool. As for the ugly clothes, Yuan Jie couldn't control that much at this time. When Girl Do took out that pair, Li Ji was obviously a little afraid to wear it. Seeing the other party like this, Yuan Jie said angrily at this time, if you really look like this guy won't kill all your family members, I will kill all your family members, isn't it from the Tianlong people? Clothes, this pair is made to look like this, what is it that dare not wear it? If it is not for something, a ghost would be willing to wear such a sand sculpture on a boat. Yuan Jie unceremoniously expressed his views on the pair. Hearing this, Li Ji and Girl Do widened their eyes. Because this dress is specially customized by Tianlong people, and such a piece is very valuable. However, now it is regarded as a sand sculpture by the guy in front of him. And let them that is very stunned. Seeing the two of them look the same, Yuan Jie also knows why the two look the same. Then Yuan Jie said angrily, "Don't think how expensive this pair is, although this thing is of high value, it is very impractical. This dress is airtight, it has not been a hot day for hundreds of years, and it is easy to wear. It's very hot, and the clothes are very bulky. If you run for your life, the one who wears this clothes will be the first to die. And that helmet, it's no wonder you Tianlong people are so stupid, wearing this clothes all day. Guys, it is estimated that the brain lacks oxygen, so each and everyone is so stupid." At this time, Yuan Jie directly pointed out the shortcomings of the clothes. Even though Girl Do was very angry, he didn't know what to say at this time. "Is this clothes really not good? It's really like what the other party said. I also think other people are very stupid. Is it really caused by lack of oxygen?" Even Girl Do, at this time, began to doubt whether the clothes had the shortcomings mentioned by Yuanj. Being so threatened by Yuanj, Li Ji had to put on the clothes of the Tianlong people. Seeing this, Yuan Ji's mood was calmed down at this time. "I have to say, this guy looks really good, and this guy is so sexy. With such a natural stunner around, it's hard to do things by yourself." After the other party was dressed, Yuanj at this time began to do business. The first thing to do is to get the devil fruit. There are many channels for these Tianlong people, and it is naturally very simple to obtain devil fruit. Moreover, the things that Tianlong people fancy, other people also dare not covet. As for the second, Yuan Jie wanted to get a good understanding of this holy place, Mary Joa. Because Yuan Jie knew that there must be something hidden here. In one piece, Yuan Jie saw Naum come to a huge straw hat. He was also very curious. Of course, at this time, he has to be very low-key. If it is really surrounded, it will be very troublesome at that time. Of course, Yuan Jie was referring to people like the Admiral of the Navy or the 5 Old Stars. Ordinary naval and world government officials still have a hard time dealing with themselves. "I have some questions to ask you now, you'd better answer me honestly. If you lied, then I will definitely not spare you." Yuan Jie looked aggressive at this time. If the other party lied a little bit, he would definitely punish himself. Moreover, at this time, Yuan Jie secretly released his domineering arrogance. Of course, that domineering was only put out for a while. If you put too much, this guy will definitely be stunned by his domineering. As for the domineering that was released, it naturally made the other party feel fearful in his heart. When it's time to ask questions by yourself, and guys don't lie to yourself. "Do you have a map of your holy land Mary Joa here?" Yuan Ji's opening is such a question. Even if he has imitation fruits, he can imitate the appearance of people. But if you don't know the map, then it's very likely to be revealed. Of course, other things are also very easy to reveal. The most important thing is that even if the matter is exposed, he will have a way to escape. We don't have a map here. Because this place is very mysterious to the outside world, and the 5 Old Stars also don't allow us to draw a map. If this map leaks out, there may be a lot of trouble. Girl Do replied at this time. For Girl Do's answer, Yuan Jie felt very reasonable at this time. Because these guys do all kinds of evil, if it wasn't for the protection of the world government, these guys would have been scratched long ago. Of course, there are also people who have ideas here. Rox was the idea of here, and was defeated by Roger and Garp, the Pirate King. The original Yuan Jie was also present. However, at that time, Yuan Jie just hid on the boat and did not come down. If he participated in the battle, he would definitely have his own fortune. Otherwise, when you come out, you won't even have a bounty. Of course, the most important thing is that Yuan Jie at that time just wanted to practice properly. Improve your strength. Is this place very familiar to me? Yuan Jie turned to the next question. Girl Do, are very familiar with it. Is there anything I don't know about this place? Yuan Jie knew that this guy must be blowing it, because although this guy is a Tianlong person, there really is something this guy doesn't know about. Do you know who Imam is? Yuan Jie asked such a question at this time. I am. Who is this guy? Obviously, this girl Do doesn't know who I am. This guy just bragged to himself. I know everything. This guy doesn't even know I am, that's the leader of these heavenly dragon people. Although Yuan Jie knew that this guy was really a buffalo, at this time Yuan Jie felt that it was still very necessary to let the other party draw a map for him. You haven't told me who I am. Girl Do felt that the name was very familiar, but he couldn't remember who this guy was for a while, so he was also very curious. I am as a fool. Yuan Jie said perfunctorily at this time. I thought it was with the guy the first heard. Girl Do muttered a few words. Come and give me a simple map of this holy land Mary Joa. Yuan Jie spoke to this galerd indifferently. Hearing this, Girl Do at this time was shocked. Because it is taboo to draw a map of this holy site, Mary Joa. That is to say, if he is a Tianlong person, if he is known by the 5 old stars, they will also be punished at that time. Of course, it will also be hostile to other Tianlong people. I don't do this. This is a taboo for us Tianlong people. If the 5 old stars know about it, I will definitely be dealt with at that time. Are you going to deal with it, or do you want me to deal with you now? At this time, Yuan is like if you don't do what I say, I will kill you. 72. A Kainu vs. Crocodile. If you really don't do it, then I won't force you, I'll have to kill you, and then find someone else to do it. I don't believe it. Aren't all Tianlong people afraid of death? If you are not afraid of Tianlong people, if I die, then I will kill all these Tianlong people. At this time, Yuan Jie hinted that the killing intent was awe-inspiring. The frightened girl Do and Li Ji were shivering. Obviously, they did not face such a scene. I'll give you time to think about it. If you're afraid of death, then I'll find someone later. What Yuan Jie said at this time was very light-hearted. Seeing such a scene, Girl Do at this time was quite frightened. Of course, at this time, he was remorseful. Because I brought such a god of plague into my home, I might kill the other side of Abby. I just looked at Charles Ross, and this guy is very lecherous, mainly because his family is very rich, not like our Don Quixote family. But I didn't expect that almost life is lost. The same Tianlong people, why is there still a gap? Girl Do lamented in his heart. Kan Duofeng did not agree. Yuan Jie seemed a little impatient. Because in Yuan Jie's opinion, this guy may be delaying time on purpose. Do you agree or not? Yuan Jie said unceremoniously at this time. I promise. I promise. Girl Do agreed quickly at this time, because in his opinion, if he did not agree, the other party might not let him go. Therefore, now I have no choice but to agree. And he didn't know why. He was very scared in his heart. What he was afraid of, he didn't know at this time. Then, Goulardo found a pen and paper and began to draw a map. But soon, the guy was drawn. I've drawn it. You can let me go. Don't worry, I won't say anything about this. At this time, Goulardo assured. Yuan Jie ignored the other party, and then took the map drawn in the other party's hand. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it. When you see the map drawn by this guy, Yuan Jie almost died of anger at this time. Because of what this guy drew, it is estimated that he is the only one who can understand this map. What did you draw? Look, who can understand this? Yuan Jie said irritably. After waiting for so long, I didn't expect that this guy would give him such an explanation. Even at this time, Yuan Jie felt that this guy was deliberately drawing such a map for himself. I understand. Girl Doe replied. That was Zhang Yuanzhi's anger to death. Yuanzhi thought for a while. I thought this guy was very smart, but I didn't expect that this guy was so stupid to draw such a map. I don't know if this guy did it on purpose or what. I'd better find someone else to draw a map. This guy drew such a thing, except that this guy can understand. Who can understand what this guy is drawing? Yuanzhi knew that this map must be redrawn. At this time, I had to ask this guy some other questions. Meanwhile, on the Chambord Islands, Crocodile was complaining. Because he has been hunted by the Navy all day. I don't know who revealed his identity. So that he is either chasing and killing, or on the road of chasing and killing. That guy is a dangerous person, why not catch that guy, and I was also forced by that guy. Crocodile was very angry at this time. Indeed, he did exactly what he said. But who would believe his nonsense at this time? He was also very resentful, and he came to this island with the other party. Why has he been chasing and killing? That guy doesn't seem to have any news. As for there is no news at all, it is because these people have not found the whereabouts of that guy. As for that guy's strength, he is very powerful, and almost no one can kill that guy. There is no doubt about that. At this time, Crocodile could never have imagined that the guy used the imitation fruit to find that he had entered the Holy Land Mary Joa, and also held a Tianlong person. Most importantly, he turned the Tianlong person upside down. The most irritating thing is that this one of the biggest masterminds, the Tianlong people still don't know who it is. These Tianlong people still foolishly think that it was these slaves who lost their collars, so they discovered such a thing. They blamed the slaves at this time, and they committed the following. At this time, they blamed the manufacturers for making such poor quality guys. At this time, another pair of navy came after them. Crocodile is there, grab this guy. Seeing this, Crocodile at this time was very angry, and even these trash fish wanted to clean up Crocodile, one of his famous kings, one of the Chihuahua. This is blatant contempt for where he is playing. Therefore, at this time, Crocodile unceremoniously used the ability of the rustling fruit. The sand swept toward these people like waves. The navy was swallowed up in one fell swoop. There are also navies who have fled the Nasha Sea. However, when he touched the sand, Crocodile directly used the arc-shaped dunes to turn these guys into mummified corpses. After solving these people, Crocodile at this time was very arrogant and said to the navy, "You guys want to solve it and I'm still young. You still call your admiral over here, maybe you can have a fight with me." "Did you call me?" At this time, a cold voice came from not far away. Look over at that voice. At this time, Crocodile saw a man in an admiral's uniform with a rose pin to his chest. After seeing this guy, Crocodile's face immediately became very dignified at this time. Because the guy in front of him is really an admiral, and he is also the most fierce one among admirals, Akainu. "How are you?" Crocodile frowned. "Aren't you looking for me? That guy Pulsolino is just a waste. As for Kuzan, it's also abolished at this time. I'm the only one among the admirals. You should be talking about me. Is it not enough for me to be your opponent?" Akainu joked at this time. Although the other party is the king's Chihuahua, Akainu doesn't care much at this time. At this time, Akainu was very confident, and he also showed a confident smile at this time. "Akainu, I'm not in the mood to fight with you here. You are very insidious. You deliberately dragged other people to come, then I will be miserable." Crocodile also said in a bad mood. "Don't you have Yuanzhi to help you? That guy has the strength of a sea emperor." Akainu also joked at this time. 73. Crocodile, I actually want to be Chihuahua. I was forced by that guy, isn't it bad to be Chihuahua? I'm also very helpless. Crocodile is selling badly at this time. Because he knew that even if that guy Yuanzhi saw it, he wouldn't come to save him, maybe that guy would come back to attack him. If this is the case, then you should be your own Chihuahua. As for Yuanzhi, we will solve it for you. At this time, Akainu helped Crocodile come up with a solution. Hearing this, Crocodile at this time couldn't stop scolding Akainu in his heart. Because he knows this guy's thoughts. You are not stupid. If you do this by yourself, Yuan-Jie will definitely come to her own trouble. Their navy wanted to attract Yuan-Jie with such a target as themselves. Crocodile knew, however, that it was all wrong. In fact, he is not the kind of person who gives in casually, but he never thought that the other party would know about his private affairs. If Yuan-Jie's big mouth was to tell the world that he was a woman, wouldn't his majesty and the image he established in the world be completely destroyed? Now that he is a man, he is not a woman. Therefore, he must not betray Yuan-Jie at this time. Unless that guy Yuan-Jie dies. But Crocodile knew that it was very difficult for this guy to die. I have a good idea. Crocodile doesn't agree to this, but our navy wants to cover you. Akainu asked at this time. Seeing Akainu like this, the hungry crocodile at this time was scolding disgusting in his heart. It is precisely because of this that Crocodile at this time did not give this guy a good look. Although things were the same, Crocodile did not pierce that layer of window paper at this time. Instead, he said to Hokage, if it's really what you said, then it will be miserable. I still know the character of Yuan-Jie, that guy will definitely kill me. It's okay. Our navy will cover you. That guy is not invincible. What if the other party is the Emperor of the Sea? At this time, Akainu was speaking lightly, as if he did not see Yuan-Jie, a Sea Emperor, in his eyes at all. In this regard, Crocodile at this time sneered. Because these navies are all rice buckets, and it has been so long, these guys haven't even found a trace of Yuan-Jie. You can still ask these people to protect yourself. General Akainu's words, I still consider it. For the sake of our friendship, let me tell you, that guy Yuan-Jie is really on the Chambord Islands, and I asked that guy for it at that time. A piece of gold. Crocodile did not turn against this red dog at this time, but made a friendly relationship with this red dog. Hearing this, Akainu at this time is of course more convinced that Yuan-Jie is on the Chambord Islands. General Akainu, I still have things to do, so I'll leave first. As for what you said, I'll go back and think about it. At this time, Crocodile also turned around and wanted to leave. Because who knows if the Kyabu guy is nearby. If that guy is nearby, if that guy joins forces with this Akainu, then it will be difficult for him to leave. Seeing that Crocodile wanted to leave at this time, Akainu was of course unhappy at this time. After all, this Crocodile was with that guy Yuan-Jie. Moreover, the other party did not agree to his conditions. From Akainu's point of view, this Crocodile was just talking about it, but in fact he was with that guy Yuan-Jie. Therefore, this guy naturally can't let it go. Crocodile, if you ask us to drink tea in the Navy Division, we will think about it. Akainu smiled at this time. And at this time, Akainu also made a look of invitation. I saw Akainu look like this. At this time, Crocodile knew that Akainu was determined to join the navy and capture himself. Therefore, he didn't show any kindness to the other party at this time. At this time, Crocodile did not quarrel with this red dog, but directly tore his face. Akainu, what if I can't speak? Crocodile rebuked at this time. If you, Crocodile, don't agree, do you agree? Akainu still said lightly. Hearing this, Crocodile was sullen in his heart. Akainu, are you determined to catch me? Crocodile, since you don't eat or punish you for toasting, then I can't do anything about it. We all do things according to the rules. It has come to this moment, and the red dog at this time is still calm. Akainu, you are so confident that you can beat me. At this time, Crocodile scolded angrily. Of course, he was also ready to fight this red dog at this time. If he didn't fight with this guy, he would be very reluctant to leave this place. I'm a dignified admiral, and I'm going to become an admiral in the future. Even you can't beat me. How can I become an admiral in the future? Akainu is not shy at this time. Because in the eyes of Akainu, Kizaru and Aokiji are two wastes. After saying this, Akainu added, and you crocodile. You are just a mere king, Chiwahai. You are only Yuanji's subordinate now, don't make yourself look like the emperor of the sea, you crocodile is not qualified yet. Even if Yuanj is here, I am very confident to defeat that guy. Hearing this Akainu's remarks, Crocodile was extremely angry at this time. Because this guy didn't take himself in his eyes at all. He didn't hesitate at this time, and attacked Akainu directly. At this time, he used his own Shaolan, and the sand attacked Kyabu like a tornado. For a while, the sky was full of dust. As for the surrounding navy and ordinary civilians, at this time, they were naturally involved in the tornado composed of sand. At this time, Crocodile didn't care about the lives of these people at all. He was not as compassionate as Yuan-Jie. He is an executioner, and he does not show mercy at all. Of course, in Crocodile's view, these guys are simply ants, and they are not worth caring about at all. Seeing such a scene, Akainu's face became very angry. 74. The Handle of Crocodile. Akainu is not as cold-blooded and ruthless as Crocodile, because he is a navy, but he wants to help these civilians to defend against these pirates. You bastard, since this is your choice, then I won't tell you any sympathy. Akainu scolds angrily. In Akainu's view, the lives of these guys are sacrificed. He doesn't actually have any mercy. Because he is still very cold-blooded in his bones. He was angry because he was still a navy. Crocodile, do you really think you can beat me? I can't imagine the strength of my Akainu. Akainu's words were full of contempt, and he didn't fully see Crocodile in front of him. If this crocodile hadn't followed Yuanji's fellow, this fellow's bounty would have been just over 8,000. You know, more than 80 million pirates are not worth mentioning in his Akainu's eyes. Akainu looked at each other very sharply at this time. Then he calmly punched over. A fist that looked ordinary at first suddenly turned red, and then turned into fiery lava. Then the magma attacked the other side's Sharon tornado. However, the magma that Akainu transformed into suddenly turned black at this time. Seeing such a scene, Crocodile at this time was shocked. Although this crocodile can't, but Crocodile has heard of it, this is domineering, armed and domineering. It is specially designed to restrain the power of devil fruit. Although he knew, at this time he didn't know how to use domineering. If he can use domineering, he will not be defeated by Luffy. When that salon volume and Akainu's armed arrogance collided together, it was a shattering moment. As for the back, it was Crocodile who was beaten and stepped back. When will you be domineering? Crocodile paled in shock. This was something he hadn't thought of before. If you know that the other party will be domineering, then you will definitely not fight the other party. Because of the domineering of the other party, Crocodile has nothing to do. And that guy is also a natural devil fruit, and the opponent's devil fruit ability is not weak compared to his own rustling fruit. I will be armed with domineering, do I have to tell you? Akainu said to Crocodile unceremoniously. After saying this, Akainu couldn't help but attack at this time. How powerful do you think you are? Let me tell you, you are the weakest among the 7 martial seas, and you still feel like you are the weakest kid. You look invincible, and I don't know who gave you the courage. Could it be Yuan-Jie? Might as well tell you. Those guys in the New World are generally domineering. And some of them are still very domineering. Therefore, don't think how powerful you are. Akainu continued to attack Crocodile. Because this guy looked very surprised when he saw that he was domineering. This thing is really not surprising, but it is something that Crocodile always thinks he can't, and naturally others won't. When Crocodile heard this, it was very unbelievable at this time. Because he is too special to attack people, he was also a famous king in the past, Chiwahai. If that's the case, what's the matter with your own strength? This is so shocking. Crocodile, I really don't believe it at this time. Akainu sees Crocodile like this, and Akainu has nothing to be proud of at this time. Because in Akainu's view, this guy thinks he is a character, but in Akainu's view, this guy is just a small character. Crocodile, you can't beat me, you're good at it. Although your strength is a little weaker, but you want to restore the identity of the king's Chihuahua, I can still agree. Akainu continued to strike at this time. Akainu is also very treacherous. Although those guys will be armed and domineering, their strength is not above Crocodile's strength. This guy has been in the mix for so many years, and this guy's fighting style is also extremely rich. And this guy's combat experience is also very rich. Of course, the main thing is that the other party's rustling fruit is also very powerful, and it is on a par with his own rock fruit. Otherwise, this guy will not become the king of Chihuahua. These kings under the Chihuahua are also some of the best among pirates. The opponent's strength is still there, but the opponent really does not have the strength to compete with himself. Crocodile will naturally not join the navy again. In that case, even if he betrayed Yuanj, his own handle is still in the opponent's hand. If he offends that guy, then his secret that he is a woman will be known to the whole world. At that time, his dignified Crocodile will be laughed at by people all over the world. That was too shameful for him, Crocodile. Well, you, Ivankov, actually told that guy about this. At the beginning, I clearly said that I would keep it a secret for me, but I didn't expect to tell the bastard about it. In Crocodile's view, all of this is Ivankov's fault. It must be this guy who told Yuanj, otherwise, that guy wouldn't know such a secret. For Yuanj, Crocodile was also very disgusted. After all, he is the crew of the other party, but the other party treats him like this. And he was originally going to rule Alabasta, but this time he was messed up by this guy. If the other party didn't know his secret, then he must have already agreed to Akainu's request. Isn't it bad to be a king under the 7 Wuhai? He also has a group of subordinates. As for the group of people with Yuanj, he really has nothing to do with each other. That eagle-eyed Mahawk looked cold and indifferent all day long, and Yuanjie was just a boss when he had nothing to do with him, and he was not this guy's servant. Thinking of this, Crocodile was very angry at this time. However, at this time, he gritted his teeth and scolded Dao Akainu, Akainu. Don't think that I don't know what you are thinking in your heart, and want me to rely on you again, you are dreaming. I am Yuanj's now. Buddy, this guy is the emperor of the sea. If it weren't for this guy, my bounty would not be 300 million. Now Crocodile is even more famous. Of course, what Crocodile said was very counterintuitive. These words are just what he said to Akainu. Seeing that Crocodile was so determined at this time, Akainu didn't talk to Crocodile anymore at this time. This place has already been destroyed by Crocodile, and Akainu has no scruples at this time. 75. Do business with Tianlong people. At this time, he directly launched the meteor volcano. Then, only saw fists with flames falling from the sky. Although this destructive move is not Akainu's most amazing move, but it is Akainu's attack with the widest range. He already knew about Crocodile's moves. This guy is relying on the sand to launch the attack. The fist fell like raindrops. At this time, Crocodile had to use the sand to make a layer of shield to fend off these attacks from Crocodile. Although Crocodile still resisted the opponent's attack, at this time Crocodile was extremely embarrassed. Seeing Crocodile like this, Akainu also sneered, Crocodile. If I were you, I would use my knowledge. In that case, these fists of mine should be easy to escape. You won't do this either. Embarrassed. When Akainu used this move, he had already seen through the move of Crocodile. Therefore, this Crocodile is simply unavoidable. If Crocodile could escape, he wouldn't use sand as a shield. For these words of Akainu, Crocodile was very angry. Because this guy mocked himself like that. This made him almost doubt his life. At this time, his face was dark. Looking at the red dog with a very bad look. He in this time also did not show very angry. Because Crocodile is also an old fritter. He also saw that this Akainu was stimulating himself. If you really go to war, then you will really follow the other party's way. The battle continued. Akainu saw that he did not irritate this crocodile, and he stopped at this time. Ya also knows that the other party probably already knows his purpose. After thinking of this, Akainu also exerted all his strength at this time. It's still a quick decision, and he doesn't know what mobs will appear at that time. Akainu is using all the means of thunder, and it also cooperates with the domineering look of the armed and the domineering look of the overlord. Domineering has a restraining effect on the abilities of devil fruit capable users, especially Crocodile, a natural devil fruit. Therefore, within a few rounds, Crocodile was defeated. He was very embarrassed at this time, and his golden hook was also hung with blood at this time, which seemed a little bloodthirsty. He looked at Akainu very resentfully at this time, because this guy's strength was really terrible. After all, he is also the king's Chiwahai, and he has no power to fight back when facing the opponent. This domineering is indeed very powerful, and it is very restrained on my ability. It seems that I am also outdated by Crocodile, and I must learn this domineering when the time comes. At this time, Crocodile also secretly made up his mind. After Akainu captured the crocodile, he didn't talk nonsense with the crocodile. Because of the latter matter, it is natural to take this guy back and talk about it. Crocodile was also very lost at this time. Because he didn't see the red dog in front of him at all, but he never thought that the red dog would actually defeat him. The reason why he was afraid of fighting against this red dog before was also because he was afraid of Kizaru being here. If Kyabu and Akainu were both present, then he might not really be the opponent of these two. Crocodile originally wanted to defeat Whitebeard, but obviously there was no drama. He was defeated by Akainu, let alone a guy like Whitebeard. Soon, the news of Crocodile's arrest came out. Of course, Akainu planned all this because he wanted to seduce Yuanj. But this time Yuanj was in the Holy Land Marijoa. The news wasn't much talked about in the Holy Land Marijoa. These Tianlong people are very arrogant, even the navy they are very despised. Not to mention like a pirate. Therefore, Yuanjie did not know at this time. I like to collect devil fruits. Is it easy for you to collect them? If possible, I will let you go. As for the cost of collecting, don't worry, I will double it for you. You must know that Yuanjie's main purpose here is to collect devil fruits. He didn't come to make trouble in this holy place, Marijoa. However, this mess is just a random thought. Of course, he didn't know that this random move caused such a big movement in the Holy Land Marijoa. So many dragons were killed by those slaves. If you want to get a devil fruit, it's very easy for me to get it, but what you said is true. We Tianlong people are very rich, and we look down on a little money. This guy obviously felt that Yuanjie would not kill himself. At this time, he still wanted to do business with such a wretched uncle in front of him. Seeing this, Yuanjie also lit up slightly at this time. Because he didn't expect this Tianlong person to have such a mind, which made him a little surprised. In Yuanjie's impression, these Tianlong people are rich and domineering, and they are more evil than some pirates. However, this Tianlong person in front of him is a special case. Yuanjie smiled and then said, "That's for sure. If you have channels, maybe we can cooperate for a long time. As for money, the most important thing I don't need is money." Yuanjie originally thought that after asking this guy, he killed this guy. Then find someone else to draw the map yourself. But I didn't expect that this guy could collect devil fruits for himself. In that case, he wouldn't need to trouble himself. And if he goes, he will be exposed very easily. But this kid is a real heavenly dragon. In order to show his sincerity, Yuanjie took out a piece of gold from his badness. Then Yuanj said to the other party, "This piece of gold is also regarded as a deposit. If you can get the haunt of the devil fruit, this piece of gold will also be given to you." When Yuanjie handed out the gold, Yuanjie didn't blink. Because this gold is no longer important to him. "I still have a golden boat, not only that, but I can also use the ability of Momo's fruit to make the gold bigger. When Girldo saw that Yuan Jie took out a piece of gold so easily, he was also very shocked. Moreover, this guy gave himself such a large piece of gold, just like the other party, he didn't care about it at all. This guy is really too generous, and it looks like a fat sheep that is fatter than St. Charles Rose. It seems that I still don't want to find a way to deal with this guy. This guy must have a lot of money. Get this guy's money first. While Yuanj was planning for Girldo, Girldo also began to plan for Yuanj. Because of the interests of the two people, they reached an agreement. P.S. Ask for a ticket, thank you. 76. You can give it a try, recommended reward. When you help me collect devil fruits, by the way, get me a map of this holy land of Mary Joa. Don't worry, money is of course indispensable to you, and I won't let you take such a big risk to do this. Quote. Yuan Jie was very happy at this time. As for devil fruits, I will pay as much as you collect. As for the price, it's very easy to say. After saying this, and this time Yuan added, you as soon as possible. However, don't expose my identity, you kid, no matter what the price is, I will definitely kill you this guy. Yuan Jie finally warned. Because he still doesn't trust this Girldo a little bit. Don't worry, my Goulardo has a very high reputation among the Tianlong people. At this time, Girldo patted his chest and assured. Seeing the other party like this, Yuan Jie left at this time. Seeing that when Girldo saw Yuan Jie leave so indifferently, he was very surprised at this time. If he goes to complain to other people, this guy will definitely die. It seems that smashing Goulardo. Aren't you afraid of me going to sue you? You're not St. Charles Rosé. Girldo couldn't help but wonder in his heart, just when Yuan Jie prescribed medicine and walked out of this room. Hearing this, Yuan Jie was also slightly taken aback. Yuan Jie just left a sentence lightly. You can go and try it. Yuan Jie's tone was very domineering. Of course, if the other party sued, Yuan Jie would definitely kill this guy. Even if this guy sued, he would definitely have the means to kill this guy. Moreover, he has now turned into a Blackbeard, and this is also the black kid of the Blackbeard, and it has nothing to do with his Yuanj. Seeing the other party's appearance like that, at this time, Girldo felt a little palpitated. That's right, it's heart palpitations. Because the other party is very confident. And he still has the confidence to kill himself. He knew that if he went to complain, the other party would definitely be very confident to kill him. After Yuan Jie left, Girldo began to draw Yuan Jie's changed appearance. Then the appearance of Yuan Jie was passed on. Check it out for me, who is this guy? Soon, the phone came over. This guy seems to be called Blackbeard. This guy was originally Whitebeard's subordinate. This guy seems to have killed his own captain. Now he is wanted by the Whitebeard pirates. Hearing this, Girldo couldn't help frowning at this time. But soon, the guy's brows loosened. This guy isn't that great either. I thought how great this guy was. Is this guy rich? Girldo asked towards the other party. Because Girldo cares about money, as for the identity of the other party, Girldo doesn't care at all. I don't know, but I just heard that this guy is going to join Chihuahai. After hearing this, Girldo couldn't help frowning. If that guy was really Blackbeard, it would be very difficult to pass on the other party's news. After thinking for a while, but soon, Goulardo guessed it. That guy didn't show me his original appearance. That guy used the appearance of a Blackbeard. I was very curious at that time, who is this guy? At this time, Girldo changed his previous appearance and showed a sly smile. Check it out for me, what great people have disappeared recently. Soon, something was found on the opposite side. Recently, there seems to be a guy named Yuan Jie who has become a new generation of sea emperors in less than half a month. Where is the other party now? These are not very clear, but the opponent's subordinate crocodile was caught by a kainu. According to that crocodile, Yuan seems to be in the Chambord Islands. But the Navy has not found any trace of that guy yet. Could this guy be Yuan Jie? Girl Do was very suspicious. What kind of abilities does that guy have? Girl Do asked hurriedly. If the other party has the ability to change, then the other party must be the so-called Yuanj. Lord Garal, we haven't yet determined what the other party's abilities are, but the other party has a lot of abilities. Even Admiral Aokiji seems to have been easily defeated by that guy. After hearing this, Garal at this time paled in shock. You mean that Admiral Aokiji was defeated by that guy? Yes. Is that guy Yuan Jie? Goulardo said suspiciously at this time. His face was very ugly at this time. Girl Do is not like other people, they look down on the Navy and pirates. In their view, the Navy is their bodyguard, and the pirates are their slaves. Although the Navy is to protect the safety of these guys, those are only some of the lower ranks. As for those lieutenant generals and the like, they did not take them in their eyes. As for their slaves, some were defeated, captured, and sold to them. These pirates are not top-level pirates. And Yuan Jie is the top fighting force among the pirates. He couldn't be underestimated at this time. With the strength of the other party, even if he is discovered, he can leave this holy land Mary Joa alive. Because there are not many people with the strength of these four emperors. Therefore, it is difficult to stop the opponent. No wonder that guy has such confidence. At this time, Girl Do suddenly realized. But at this time, Girl Do was in a cold sweat. The other party is really terrible. What are you afraid of? I just need to provide the devil fruit to that guy, and I won't reveal the guy's identity. I'm just a moneymaker. Girl Do comforted at this time. Sir, are you all right? Do you want a little one to serve you? Li Ji saw that Girl Do's face was very ugly at this time, so she also asked with concern at this time. Hearing this, Girl Do at this time also waved his hands again and again. Because